Okay, first of all, I don't believe in Gen.G.
Okay, never mind. I have two non.
I find them entertaining. I find them a really fun team to follow and watch because they're progressing. You can see the improvement week in, week out. A lot of pressure on this team because they're a partner team. So you're like, Krusty, you're supposed to be one of the best coaches in Overwatch history. Are you a fraud? So it's like there's a lot of like big storylines here. Just like, what is happening with this team? How are they so bad? They play Exodial on Tracer in week 1, and then slowly but surely they're like, okay, Backbone is able to play the Tracer hero at somewhat of a level. Exodial finally looking hit scan, can make big plays for us, and I feel like they're kind of figuring things out. Here we are watching Twisted Minds as well. Obviously they've been looking really good because Quartz is just phenomenal at hit scan, but Gen.G, I think they're the most entertaining team in town. I'm not saying they're the best, I'm not giving them a chance, but they're really fun to follow, so I can't see what's next in episode 5 of Gen.G.
Episode 5? I guess we are in week 5. That does actually make sense. Look, I think Twisted Minds, they are entertaining in the way that they do win a lot of games. They are very, very good. I think with Psycho's Edition 2, Quartz just on the hit scan, Quartz, Sojourn, Quartz, Casty, any kind of hit scan pick, he is a beast. Psycho 2 on the Tracer, phenomenal. And KSA, kind of the master of all tanks, it feels like. But this meta specifically, just plays Zarya. Run it down. Astro plays a whole lot of Lucio, we know that. A little bit of Juno, but actually Wu Yang looking really good for TM as well. Like, this team is stacked from top to bottom, and Astro's been bigging up Simple ever since he joined the team as well. Just an unbelievable flexible player, and this is perfect for this meta too, where you can be so aggressive.
Yeah, I think that you have to keep in mind, like, this Twisted Minds team, they're the ones that really took Alcatia to their limits in that best of 5. So this is a really tall task for Gen.G. Despite all of the improvements that, Johnny, you had been talking about, it's also so late into the regular season, and I know that you're not on the train with me. We're not believers here on the desk apparently today. But what is a shining light, do you think, they're on the side of Gen.G?
Well, I think that last week they looked really good and they had Crux figured out. Like, going into this matchup, a ton of people picked up Crux for fantasy, and I mean, I don't know what you guys believed in. That was quite delusional, in my opinion. But I think this was like a fantastic match from Gen.G, because, like, okay, we have a plan. How are we going to deal with the Roadhog? And they executed perfectly. Exodia looked fantastic on the hit scan here as well. Backbone. Reaper is like pretty good in the meta right now, so obviously like a viable pick, especially if you want to get like a Tracer ban in there or something as well. Like, Reaper is a pretty good replacement for a hero like that, right? And that suits Backbone. Like, he's a bit of a flex specialist, right? So I just like that Gen.G, they look well oiled in this iteration as they're progressing through stage 3. They figured out their identity, they know their hero picks, and now it's all about executing. Are they going to have a tough time against Twisted Minds? Obviously, but I think that they're starting to look really competitive, and what matters is the playoffs. If they can keep improving on a week-to-week basis ahead of the playoffs, they could become a little bit of an underdog.
Yeah, the Silly Heroes is where it's at. It really is. And Backbone's perfect for that. The Reaper has been creeping up in popularity. It's honestly kind of perfect for the match last week. Obviously, we saw the little lower third where Tread went like 58-9 or something silly on the tank. But if you're playing against someone like Crocs, you know he's going to run just beefy tanks, Hog, a little bit do maybe, and you can just kind of run at them. Twisted Minds aren't really going to give you that opening, and I do fear for kind of the Silly Hero specialist. They're going to come out with something a little crazy, I think, to kind of trip over TM here, Ash.
I gotta hope so, right? I think that there's definitely a huge mountain to climb here for the side of Gen.G, and with how late it is into the season as well, this is a huge litmus test to see how far they've come with the improvements that you guys have talked about. And I think the biggest question that I have today too is, Matt was talking about it yesterday, will Gen.G stop their ban supports only strategy, Johnny?
I mean, they stopped it last week, and suddenly I think we had a full rant about this.
He does.
Yeah, Matt does that sometimes. Don't worry about that. But they did actually like kind of deviate from it. You know, I mean, they banned the Roadhog at times from Crooks, for example. So like, they're starting to do that as well. Kanail is also in the mix. We haven't mentioned that, but Kanail, obviously playing in Sky for Gen.G, has made a big difference as well in how they're playing the support ultimates, for example. And so that's been a big boon for them coming in last week. It's going to help them in this matchup. I think we'll have to see.
Well, I can't wait to get straight into it. Gen.G versus Twisted Minds coming up.
92 to 8%. Is it that one-sided, Johnny? Is chat cooking? They normally do cook.
92. I mean, look, 92 is such an extreme number that I don't think I would bet on 92. If you bet channel points on 92%, you must have like ridiculous belief in Twisted Minds. And I have a really strong belief, but I'm thinking like that's just not worth it. Like the risk is so high. What if you lose all your channel points, chat? You might lose all your channel points in the next 2 hours, and then you are going to be so boomed you can't even go play ranked for the rest of the day. No, you have to like touch grass.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You have to work like side gigs to get the channel points back. So you have to like get a lemonade stand going.
I mean, yeah, you could be doing that. You could be doing that.
It's not worth it.
You know what would make the channel point predictions a little spicy as well? If we did it map by map. Because that way is a little more risky, because there's always maybe one or two that could get snuck away from a team that's maybe favored. Twisted Minds end up banning Lucio against Gen.G. Freya ban on the side of Gen.G. So no Lucio actually for Crispy. Might be a bit of a problem here. Crispy, very good Lucio player, although the other heroes in his pool not quite as strong. And on a map like Ilios too, we'll see how this impacts them. Looks like we're jumping onto Lighthouse for our first stage.
Yeah, that is definitely a hero that we expected to get targeted throughout this series, but it already coming out on map 1. I mean, that shows how Twisted Minds, they feel very confident going into Ilios here. We have seen that Crispy flexes over to something like a Juno in the past when this happens, when Lucy's not available.
Small pause, all good.
Small pause.
Small pause.
All good.
It wasn't Lighthouse. All good though. We're back.
It's all good.
It's all good. I think the Freya band's really smart too. Ilios is so good for Freya, man. It's really unbelievable. I think what are the ins here for Gen.G, Johnny? Like, what player really needs to kind of step up? Obviously, with the Lucio ban, it's going to be tough for the backline, I think. Gen.G's backline are probably going to struggle a little bit. Twisted Minds. Astro, you know, I think at this point in time, in this timeline, it's like, okay, Astro, very good Lucio player. We know that. Probably one of the best in the world. However, his Juno and Wu Yang are good too. Like, they're up there. He's not just this Lucio OTP like people used to tout like a long time ago. He's clean on a lot of these new heroes, especially when it comes to double flex, which is so important in this era of Overwatch.
I mean, I think I would say that Twisted Minds, one of the reasons they were so good in Stage 2 and EWC is their ability to play double flex support, right? We have seen them quite often actually just wanting to play something like a Juno Kiriko, for example, and they got so much value from that double flex. So obviously, yes, Funny Astro, primarily a Lucio player, but like you said, I think their ability to flex recently has been really strong. And so for Gen.G here, you think maybe, okay, we have been seeing some Lucio players. They like to flex over to the Wu Yang FD God, for example, historically a really strong Lucio player. Started playing more Wu Yang. Crispy now, able to pick up the Wu Yang. And so it adds some versatility to these players who historically have, hate to say it, been OTPs. But it's going to be really tough against Twisted Minds, who I think have way more experience playing this double flex.
Moon Hamster, obviously that is simple. I think he's got
what's going on here?
He's hiding from us. He's hiding. He doesn't want to be discovered, so streamer mode enabled. Good early kill though. Wow, Canal takes down Psycho. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh. I think Exodio had his entire life flash before his eyes there. The whole 19 years of his existence. Jeez. Okay, good start from Quartz, but they should end up losing this first cap. Aggressive positioning from Tread 2. Getting on top of Quartz is probably going to be Tread's #1 priority, denying these off angles.
I think we're really going to keep an eye on Exodio here. Obviously getting picked early. Oh, back up.
Fine.
I mean, this is backbone territory right here, but Exodio is going to have such a tough matchup against Psycho on this Tracer. And you kind of have to combine with your D.Va and Reaper here. Can you make sure you don't get forced a recall early, or you're able to have some say in some of these dives coming out?
Yeah, okay. Well.
Okay, Crispy.
Yeah. Okay, well. Crispy. I mean, a good position normally for the Wu Yang to be up on that high ground. You can see the main choke point pretty well, and you can weave the water orbs quite easily. Kinell's on a nice little off angle here, but Tread is going rather low. Ends up teleporting into a dangerous spot. Takes a full body shot there from Astro. They end up losing the mech as well. Kinell unable to stabilize the rest of the team. Gen.G to get wiped.
Yeah, that's brutal for Gen.G getting picked early like that, and you can't have that happen to you. Twisted Mind's in control now, and we're starting to get up to these ultimates. Kinale has a slight advantage when it comes to the Kitsune rush here. So if you're able to make use of that, obviously it's hard to catch anyone on the side of Twisted Minds here, but some pressure on towards the point, and you could get a lot of positioning, which could help you down the line in one of these fights.
Exodio obviously back in the trace. You already kind of mentioned that as well, Johnny. Exodio, very much known as the capacity player a long time ago. Backbone ends up going down to Simple. That Rush is in a decent spot too, covers most of that point. Tidal Blast on to Psycho, and Crispy uses his on his own self. Unfortunately, doesn't get a single knockdown there. Twisted Mind still in control, and look at the ult bank as well. Just dirty stuff. Wow. Taking a couple of body shots from Crispy as he regains control of this high ground. Self-destruct for TVNT, but again, it should be a fairly easy retouch here, although the flip does come through. Actually, a couple of pixels too late there. TVNT now onto the high ground. Guardian Wave already used, and good luck, Crispy. No CDs left to save himself, and Canal nowhere to be found either. Both supports dead for Gen.G, although it was a nice cap from Gen.G. It doesn't really matter in the end. Twisted Minds with TVNT resetting himself, end up getting a team kill.
Well, I hope they would have capped with the amount of ultimates they wasted there. But it's a tough look for Gen.G because I think they had the right idea. They can rush onto the point. They get a lot of space, but Backbone going down early, that's going to make things way tougher for Tread in the front line. And then Crispy, I mean, you know, having to use the ultimate defensively like that, it's just a not good value. And so Gen.G expending a lot of ultimates, getting picked early. They're not really able to execute with the good plan they have.
Jeez, Backbone, 25 HP. Crispy's already dead, takes a railgun from Quartz. I mean, not looking too hot right now. TVNT does need to survive here. Don't want to lose mech. Quartz gets another, man.
Quartz just on fire right now.
Yeah, he's pretty good at the video game, some say.
Any touchers?
Yeah, any touches. There's gonna be one at least. You think Tread at least gets there, right? Oh, I was so scared for Backbone's life there. Looks like Tread actually got pushed onto the point by TVNT there, so all good, a little helping hand. However, now try and step up to the plate. Quartz has got an overclock. Oh, aim straight at your skull. Canale ends up going down to Funny Astro as Quartz waits for Backbone to TP. And a Death Blossom for Gen.G can't even be used. That'll be round. Twisted Minds picking up one.
And I think we're seeing, Jack, that it's just absolute like skill diff. Gen.G are struggling with their execution right now. They're getting picked early in these fights, and they don't even really give themselves a chance to win some of these fights. So great Lucio ban by Twisted Minds that I think kind of like opened up this map, kind of like established some of these compositions, right? Because I think we're even seeing Crispy, you know, struggling on the Wu Yang right now. Getting picked early on some of these fights isn't really getting value from the Wu Yang pick, and that's Twisted Minds forcing that error, forcing Crispy to adapt. And Crispy is struggling with adapting right now.
Now that Lucio ban paying dividends for Twisted Minds. Full kind of comp swap here from Gen.G. Backbone. Back to Reaper. I mean, on the he does do that after the TP, but yeah. So Azaria on this point, decent again if you think that TVNT is going to run the Diva again, but I mean he's on the hazard now.
Yeah, I think this gets really tricky because you don't have a ton of mobility if you're Tread here, of course, and so you kind of have to play these narrow angles, right? But that's going to free up Quartz, and Quartz is going to have a field day, taking these flank angles, getting a lot of poke done, and maybe opening things up with a rail.
Yeah, look at that. Backbone ends up trying to TP to force a position of Quartz, but Quartz just gets a better position on the high ground. Now looking for Crispy. Oh, rushing Torrent does manage to get away as Exodio is actually the one that starts off the fight with a kill. TVNT down, and Twisted Minds turn tail and run. Backbone stays alive on the point, and that's their biggest boon for the team, Johnny. The point fight for Gen.G is very strong with the Reaper.
Yeah, the Reaper Zarya is something we've seen more of in Stage 3. It does mean that if you push on towards this point, then Psycho has to stay out of trouble. TVNT was a bit reluctant there as well of taking any space whatsoever. And you see Twisted Minds, they're trying to think of ways to engage, but wow, Simple getting picked early as well. 4 versus 4 though.
They do trade, yeah. I mean, Crispy also ends up going down. High charge for Tread now, looking for a kill onto TVNT. Spike guard utilized and expended. TVNT couldn't stand up to the ire of Backbone and Tread there. Tread is 1 HP, needs heals. Oh, Lucio Zario has such high charge as well. It could be another attempt of an engagement here from Twisted Minds. A rush on the point to help sustain, but Backbone's already used that Wraith Form to back away. 9% on the board for TM, although with the kill onto Quartz, that is definitely going to put a dampener on their plans. Psycho looking for a way into this fight with a pulse bomb, but it looks like Twisted Minds are going to be happy with maybe even a cap. But with Tread coming back on the Diva, it should be quite easy now to stop this cap going through. Both tidal bars utilized there, but no initial kills, but a later rush on the point from Simple should be good for Twisted Minds, but they're still yet to cap. Eventually, Backbone does end up going back to the Underworld, Simple putting a kunai between his eyes, as Twisted Minds eventually get flipped.
Yeah, so there's a lot of great percentage built for Gen.G here, of course, and a lot of ultimate trading back and forth. But now if you're Gen.G, you put yourself in a position where Exodial, a good overclock, obviously up against Quartz is very tough, but Gen.G, they have an in here if Exodial can come up with a nice play.
Downpour's going to be tough too. Oh, Exodial takes one with him. You take that, but Exodial ends up killing two, in fact, before he ends up going down. TVNT with the kill, with the jagged wall of all things. That is a messy fight. Tread doesn't have mech though, and a Downpour still available for TVNT, so you're expecting the hazard to use it here. Downpour connects to Kineo, and it was just so perfect. Picturesque, in fact. TVNT connects the two, and Twisted Minds hold on to the capture.
Oh, that's a big shame for Gen.G there, because you felt like you would have won that fight after Exolial gets 3, but TVNT surviving long enough on the hazard to stick around when it's a 3 versus 2 scenario. Big downpour as well, so big play from TVNT right there, and Gen.G. Now are they gonna come back into this one? They're getting close to a Kitsune Rush here. Kale gets picked early. You get a quick reset though, you get a quick reset.
Yeah, Kineo
it's not the worst.
The cork board there by the wall. Yeah, it's all good. I mean, you've got Overclock out, which is probably one of the more scary ults for Twisted Minds at the hand of Quartz.
I think it's just so tricky here now though, because you don't have any kind of speed, right? You have a Kitsune Rush. Okay, Tread's gonna swap over to the Diva. They want to try to get this touch, right? Maybe it'll have to be an Exodial triple blink, which would mess up their team fight potential. Twisted Minds, they should go early here if they can.
Are they going to get touched? That's the question. They're hunting for Exodial. Yeah, like you said, triple blink, recall, straight back to the Mega Health Pack, and there's the rush to try and sustain now. Pulse Bomb from Psycho goes a little bit wide, Backbone jumping over it, and the retouch comes in. So Gen.G at least now fighting on the point, which is exactly where they want to be. Tidal Blast available for Crispy too. They're going to try and force this issue. A defensive one onto Quartz, ends up getting knocked down, but still survives. Guardian Wave tops him all the way back up. Simple now with the rush can lay this down, and this is going to be a big swing of momentum for Twisted Minds. They end up capping right underneath the noses of Gen.G. Overtime in session, Gen.G needs now perma-touch, but the fight is taking place off of the point, not where they want to be. A couple of kunai headshots from Simple as he takes over the game. Twisted Minds now in full control. Finding Astro and Simple. Supportal combat on the points will secure the map and the round and make that a 2-0 for Twisted Minds to start off the series.
Yeah, Twisted Minds winning as expected, but still though, Gen.G got it really close, and they had the right ideas throughout that final Ruins round. Towards the very end there, yes, you give up the cap, but they acknowledge we have to make a play. We're not going to be able to stand up in a neutral against this Kitsune Rush, so we need to try and make a play. We need to try and go aggressive with this Tidal Blast, and I think they did a really good job. Unfortunately, it doesn't go in their favor there, but again, you can see this Gen.G team, they started off so poor this stage, but at this point, I think they're making the right decisions. They have some great setups going into these fights, but they're not able to execute, Jack.
Yeah, it does feel like they're a sign to life, right? Small mistakes, though, like Crispy being picked off on that high ground. You want to play aggressive with the Wu-Yang. I mean, look at the way UV plays it, for example. Like how close he plays to the front line, knows his teammates can kind of bail him out, has the rushing torrent to get away as well, has Guardian Wave, etc., right? Crispy trying to do the same thing, taking a small off angle, but punished. And if Crispy goes down like that, there's way less support for your Kiri, for your other support. A little bit rough to start us off with, but yeah, I agree, Johnny. I think there are still points where you can say, you know, Gen.G, they kind of had it this fight. They kind of were playing Twisted Minds a little bit.
Yeah, right. Like if you're able to win that fight where Exodial gets 3, like things look pretty differently, right? And towards the very last fight, like I said, right, if you're able to find a pick with that Tidal Blast, you know, maybe you can win that one out against Kitsune Rush. And so Gen.G, I think they're giving themselves the opportunity to win some of these fights. And look, It's not always happening. Sometimes it looks bad because like they gave up the flip and such. But I genuinely feel like a lot of the time Gen.G, they're making the right calls, but someone's dying early. You know, in the case of Crispy's not the best Wu Yang, and so you're not able to utilize the skill set of Wu Yang to its fullest potential. And that kind of like setting them back here a little bit. But I like the direction that Gen.G is heading. And so, you know, if you happen to lose against Twisted Minds in week 5, so be it. Like I said several times, it's about the playoffs, and I do think that Gen.G are improving week to week.
Oh, Lucio can't be banned now by TM, so we're all good. We're chilling. If you're Gen.G. I'm gonna go back to more Lucio style comps. Here's the stats from the last map as well. Pretty one-sided when you look at KDAs. A lot more damage though. 35k to 26 is quite the disparity. That is Gen.G not winning that map. It was TM, so we'll get that fixed in a moment. But also don't forget, there is FACEIT. That is coming up. New season coming out for both the game and for FACEIT. It's season 7 for FACEIT. If you go log onto the website right now, you can create your team and play in some of the leagues and play in the Masters division if you are confident enough, and maybe make it to OWCS. The open qualification system is definitely a thing that sparks a lot of joy with a lot of fans too. Get teams like Dildux and Quick Esports coming through the ranks and yeah, making everybody's day a little bit brighter. Or you can play in some of the other divisions too, which might be a little bit more on your track. You don't want to be facing top 500 champ players all the time, so play in some of the lower divisions and you can face opponents at similar skill levels. So yeah, FACEIT.gg/FACEIT League, and there'll be some links on the socials as well, so make sure you go check that out. And and there's also a lot of prizes as well, so yeah, look at that. But back to the series at hand, Johnny. Twisted Minds taking that one, a little 2-0 to start us off with, but now you go on, well, you want to pivot back to Lucio comps if you're Gen.G, hit scan comps as well, maybe get Exodial back on Sojourn, anything else like that. What are you feeling for Gen.G with the next map pick?
Well, one of the go-to maps for Gen.G have been Esperanza, because I think it does well for everyone. Like, it suits everyone on their lineup. They can play this like pretty default Lucio Kiriko if they want to. And they're gonna pick King's Row here actually, which is a map they picked against Peps last week there as well. Or that was a couple of weeks ago actually. My bad. But it has been a go-to map for them as well. They have been playing a lot of Esperanza and a lot of King's Row here. So we'll kind of have to see where we go here. I think at some point in this series, we're going to see the Symmetra matchup, right? Because I think Gen.G, they want to be a Symmetra team. But it's going to be the Symmetra ban for Twisted Minds. So it's not going to be this matchup. But I think also, like, Twisted Minds banning Symmetra, that's also them recognizing that, hey, Gen.G, they can be a good Symmetra team. So we'd rather force Backbone off that hero and force Backbone to play the Tracer or the Reaper.
Dude, it feels like going for the Jugger, like, okay, we banned Lucio, and now we banned Sim, and next map we're gonna ban Reaper. Like, Hazard banned for Gen.G. Though you say that, but to be fair, I think Backbone, you're like, okay, we're going to King's Row, so Sim isn't like the only flavor of comp you can play on Kings. You can play Mei, you can play Reaper. Like, these are picks that do work on this map. It's not like, okay, we're forced to go Sim here, that's just what we need to do. There are options for Gen.G.
Yeah, but I think if you're Twisted Minds in this matchup, I feel like maybe you're thinking like Psycho is like a big player that could do a lot for us in this series, because theoretically Psycho should have the leg up over Backbone on quite a few of these different heroes. Specifically the Tracer is the one I'm thinking of, right? But like you said, like Mei, Reaper, it is kind of limiting for the side of Gen.G if you force something like a Mei. We've seen it done, but you need things to kind of work in your favor and get pretty brawly. But I think Twisted Minds, banning the Symmetra, I think makes sense to them because they're getting Backbone of one of his best heroes.
Let's get it. Let's go to King's Row. Scrim's Row. See how Twisted Minds end up defending. Gen.G on the attack first. The thing is, with the Mei comps, Johnny, the only thing I fear, and I think a lot of people would do as well if you're in the server, is court on the Sojourn, because there's not really anything that can touch the Sojourn in that comp, where if you're playing a close range comp, Quartz can basically sit back on the defense and just charge right click over and over and over and over again. Like, it's a very, very tough matchup. I like Simple using the skateboard emote as well. W. Look at him go.
Chilling.
Look at him go.
It's amazing.
I love it, bro. It's actually the best in and emote combo of all time. And for Kiriko. Also, Moon Hamster subbed out and Simple back in. There you go.
Moon Hamster was crazy, by the way.
Yeah, good player.
So good. Oh, we got the KSF Valiant skin. Or sorry, KSP. Now Kai.
Now Kai. Oh, so true actually.
Well,
I was going to name
also played for Valiant, but...
I was going to name a 2021 Valiant player, but I couldn't remember which.
No, they had that Chinese roster.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the DPS.
Oh,
Quartz ends up going down first, though. That is a big pick from Kanale. My
yeah,
word.
that's huge.
Okay, get up to the high ground now. Exodo slides into the room, and yeah, here we go. Just transition to high ground, punish TVNT. A very early Suzu usage, but it's all good. Don't need it. Go next. Just punish this mech. TVNT might be able to get away here, but now pressure on the point is required. Genji with a perfect opening pick, but there is an opportunity here. Twisted Minds managed to get out scot-free.
Yeah, see how this retake takes place here. Backbone, a lot of abilities forced actually from Backbone. It has to forfeit all that space, and that lets Twisted Minds back into the way of things. This has been kind of like a hit and miss for Gen.G here, Jack. Is that Backbone sometimes goes for some really good plays, but is prone to getting caught, picked early because he overextends, get his abilities forced, and then you have to give up all of that space that you earned, right? So Backbone have to play a bit more cautiously on the Reaper here.
Don't get one click to challenge. Almost failed. That Psycho's positioning there was kind of nasty. Forcing the Suzu, forcing the Swift Step. TVNT ends up losing mech, but like it's fine. It should be enough time for them to get back in the action. They've got Tidal Blast as well. You can even Tidal Blast the Baby Diva if you want, but actually Tread ends up stepping up too far. Oh, Tidal Blast. Okay, can't save you from Backbone, unfortunately. Might even be here as well. They end up using the rush. All right, now it's dangerous for Twisted Minds. They cannot step on the point right now. TVNT only just spawning with Psycho.
Crispy needs his speed. The re-engage is going to come surely.
There it is. Okay, Tidal Blast. Oh, Exodio's in trouble. Doesn't end up getting knocked down. Perfect Suzu. Ends up coming in with the sound barrier as well. They're going to get it popping at 96%. Quartz dead first. Exodio gets out of the way of TVNT. And that is going to be a Gen.G cap. Nice stuff from Gen.G, honestly. I mean, you're taking out Tread's mech there, and then who ends up stepping up? It is Backbone just running down the back line. Getting the kill onto the Baby Diva of TVNT was crucial to the success there.
Yeah, Gen.G are looking really good right now. Let's have a quick listen in and see how they're setting up for the second point.
I want to fight the top right space with Clock.
Yeah, okay. I'm holding with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't pick, okay? You stay in this corner, okay?
I'm fighting.
I'm on Clock, they're trying to push on me. You just kill them.
Yeah.
I'm clocking now. 3, 2, 1, clocking now.
Devo.
I pop myself.
Nice, pretty safe. Point now.
Go back, man.
Relocate. I can on top one.
Carry all pause. I'm pushing up left.
Yeah, I can come back.
Play for a grab Reaper combo on main, okay? Put pressure on Diva.
Yeah.
Care the flank.
We're on a wave.
Just care them overloading you left. We can't help you much.
Yeah, we're good. I'm pushing back.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, bubble.
Yeah, pop.
Spray one.
We can shoot the Diva. He's alone.
Back now.
Go back, man. I'm speeding trap. Turn off. Turn away. Alright, turn
Nice.
Please carry that camera. Don't do that.
I mean, Johnny, these are clean fundamentals here from Gen.G. Like, backing, tempering the pace, not overextending at all. That was just clean Overwatch. Straight up.
Yeah, that was great. Great communication as well. You can hear Backbone going in, asking for the bubble. They're pretty organized. Obviously want to kill the mech to set up the Graviton Surge. TVNT is going to swamp over to the Ramatra here, so no defense matrix to try to eat this grab. Gen.G has a really good opportunity here, Jack, to close this round out early. Oh, but Crispy goes down.
Crispy, double tap. Quartz, though, evens this up, and here we go. Go time. Tidal Blast on the ram, but he was in grab. A Suzu too, but no Nemesis 4, but obviously no Annihilation as he just ended up swapping. Backbone has the TP up and has a Death Blossom too. Can hold the gates at this point. Teleports onto Psycho. Looks 180 though. Kills Quartz. Simple with the kill onto Backbone's good enough, but still Gen.G pushing this payload. Tread in danger, but a quick reset here. Again, fundamental Overwatch, just pushing, tempering their aggression, and Tread, importantly, saving the high charge on the Zarya.
Yes, you have great team setups here, and the team fights are working out beautifully for Gen.G. But now as well, you have the overclock. This is where the individual skill comes in. Can Exodio set up his team here for a quick round win with a nice overclock.
Psycho getting checked as well, forced to recall, has got Pulse Bomb still, but needs to pick up the Mega Health Pack. Overclock can't be used anymore. Quartz on the high ground just finds a neutral kill. Pulse Bomb onto the bubble, Tread ends up going down. Okay, big reset, no opportunity to use ults there, Quartz shut down.
And this is where it gets really tough for Backbone on the Reaper, actually, because you think about this, where do you actually TP in? Yes, you can pressure TP for some space, but you're not really going to be able to kill Avramatra. You can try to jump on someone like Funny Ass or Simple, but it's really tough. So Gen.G, composition is not working out, but Exodio.
Beat, OC, Astro, dancing, weaving, bobbing, didn't get out of the way. Exodio with 2. Now Twisted Minds are in a weird spot. They've actually flipped the map, and Gen.G are pushing this payload. And TVNT needs to get out of this small room. Jet Blossom on the point, Psycho trying to touch, double kill for Backbone. And now, everybody coming out of spawn, trying to get that final touch, and Twisted Minds run over on 3rd. And almost 2 minutes time bank for Gen.G.
I've been saying, Jack, this is a game. I've been saying, Gen.G. Look at this. What were the odds going into this one? 92% Twisted Minds? Something like that? Gen.G, they are fighting in this series. Obviously, Ilios tough there because Crispy wasn't able to play the Lucio, but this is where you really see Gen.G playing their signature heroes, looking good. The teamwork is on point. The communication is crisp. 2 minutes on the time pack in overtime for King's Row here. This is a very winnable map for Gen.G.
Could say it's looking crispy, Johnny.
Indeed.
Easy slam dunk. All good. And look, if you're opening up kills like that, and this is exactly what we want to see from Exodio. Opening up kills on the hit scan, on Freya, on Cass, on Soj, any of his top heroes. The Tracer, not a great look for Exodio historically. But if you're opening up fights, killing Quartz, of all players, like killing Psycho, like that is the exact star power that you need. And Gen.G with a good start. We'll see how they end up doing on their defense. They end up going Tread over to the Diva. I think this is a safer pick in some ways, but with Twisted Minds and TVNT, you're easily able to just switch up, and TVNT rolling out the Zarya, this might be quite difficult.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough defense for Gen.G here. We'll kind of see how they play it. I think things get very tough for Backbone here as well, because now you have to play kind of defensive on the Tracer here as well. And I feel like typically Backbone is at its best when he's engaging, when he's teleporting into space, when he's trying to grab some kind of positioning for his team. Now Backbone has to be a bit more careful on the Tracer and just protect this flank high ground, right? To see how Psycho deals with it on the offense.
Don't give Quartz an angle, please. You've got to be matrixing this guy like perma. All right, looks like TVNT slowly but surely making the grand journey up to high ground. Looks like they've managed to make it, and now the slow push in through Hotel. A two-pronged attack here from Twisted Minds, with Tread losing half his mech already. It's actually above them right now. He's going to get healed up eventually across the way, but Canel takes the, railgun to the head, or like a couple of bullets there from Quartz, and this is where it all falls apart. I actually really like this backline setup from Twisted Minds. Not normally a fan of the Brig, Johnny, but on first, if you're slowly moving through Hotel with the Brig, it's actually very easy. You leave TVNT on an off angle on high ground, and then Simple walks through Hotel with Quartz.
Yeah, I feel like King's Row first. It's a really good point if you just want to like 5-man it, right? If you want to stack up and either you push the high ground and either you push the Hotel, and you gain some positioning, and Brig is really efficient in those small spaces, right? So very sound tactical composition from Twisted Mind. Simple is now going to flex over to the Kiriko here as well. So changing things up, and they'll be pocketing TVT on the Zarya here.
Oh, Simple ends up teleporting away. Astro's got ult coming online. Psycho's got that pulse bomb. Let's get a quick TM listening.
Reaper keep pushing.
Keep right side.
Yeah, they're gonna have kids away. Reaper no TP. Reaper no bubbles. Yeah, we can go. You can ready, Psycho?
I'll teach you, mate.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, go. Still one. Sorry, one. We have one. What the fuck? We get trained. What's the pulse, yeah.
Yeah, we killed someone too.
You're inside.
I think Reaper is still too bright with
Very low. No TP.
You know TP.
Carry on point.
Can you see me on one? No. Left side.
You're inside.
Reaper is above us, by the way. Yeah, Reaper's right, I think. Reaper's right.
Yeah, just push card.
Yeah, right side, dribble right side, nothing right side.
Okay.
Do you have a mobile?
Reaper shift.
Look at
Reaper one. I can poke you.
They want to flip main zone. Get.
Yeah, they have clock. They have just clock. Yeah.
Reaper right.
No, get.
Reaper one. Q not to be.
Hang up.
Sorry, nothing to.
Drill. Fast there, man. Can we down? Can I go back?
Yeah, just chill one. I can poke you out.
Can't go back.
You can.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold. They can't kill. Can have rough soon.
Yeah.
Let's go kill the main, okay? Yeah. Can Reaper kill right side. The swap main is there as glove.
Reaper to be. Live. Yeah, I'm full living.
Hold the gear.
Okay. Push.
There, push me. Can we go main kitchen now?
Yeah.
Walk.
You're kiting already.
Walk. Yeah, just walk up.
Yeah, keep pushing.
I have bomb in 10 as well. They're gonna have both spawns soon.
Reaper Curie top right.
Let's get some glove, okay? Sorry.
Nitrous Mice with 4 ults here, end up using this rush around the corner. Treads close to this grab, but it's actually TVNT that grabbed first. There is going to be a giant bubble, but backbone out of nowhere. Death Blossom up above, down onto the ground. Gen.G with a team wipe. Backbone, oh my word, he is back. That Death Blossom was beautiful. I mean, everybody from Twisted Minds there, Johnny, kind of distracted by Tread. It was caught in that grab.
Yeah, I think Gen.G are playing this one really well so far. And you can see on this off angle, Backbone is playing here on the Reaper and is getting assisted by Canale on the Kiriko as well. And so Psycho hasn't really gotten anything done. And so they kind of let Twisted Minds, they win the neutral on the Saria. But Backbone is playing this Reaper to a T on the flanks right now. And it's making things really difficult for Twisted Minds to find an edge. Now, another aggressive engage from Gen.G here.
Oh, he won that? 3 HP, please heal him. Oh, he's dead. Okay, all good. Quick reset here. Yeah, ain't gonna get the payload too far. Surprised he actually ended up winning that one. Simple, needs to get away or die ASAP. He's tricky with it, takes the headshot. That's a late death.
I feel like Gen.G are playing so well right now. Because Twisted Minds, they push up with the Ram, you know, in the street. They're pushing main. Gen.G, they don't care. It's like, okay, we're going to give you main. We're going to go for an aggressive high ground push on the flank instead and then take down your backline. So Gen.G, they're finding really creative, good ways to set up these fights to give them the best chance of winning possible. Now, no ultimates on the board for them here.
Of course, wants to get into the mix though, ends up sliding in really aggressively. There's overclock online in a couple of moments as well. On a nice little off angle. Checked though by Crispy. Takes a triple orb, but Kineo goes down. Gen.G lose another on the defense. There is a minute to go, and now they need to be tempered. Just slowly push back. Don't give up too much positioning, but also don't lose anybody. Caught on a very nice off angle though, Johnny. This high ground control here is perfect. He can peek into that mega health pack, but he can also peek down main. There's going to be a touch in a couple of moments as Backbone jumps to the high ground, but Exodial just jumps up, kills 2, takes that positioning away from Quartz, and now there's 40 seconds to go. You need a reset here if you're Twisted Minds.
Yep, 3v4. You just can't stand up here. You have no damage players. You gotta reset. And Simple dies late.
Simple dies late, Johnny. Twisted Minds, they've got ults. They just need to back up. But Gen.G aren't going to let them. They've got a Wu Yang ult here. They could even just play up to them right now. They're holding this corner.
I feel like this is really scary though, because yes, you have to dodge this Kitsune Rush. You're not going to win in the Kitsune Rush neutral. But at the same time, are you going to win with an aggressive Tower Blast here?
They got to use it at some point. High ground control for Quartz, trying to get what Exodial did. And oh, he does. Crispy ends up going down. Backbone with the trade, though. But now it's a 3-on-4 on the point. Psycho just sitting in the rush. They've got this Annihilation, too. Their staying power is immense. But the grab is coming up soon. As well as this Death Blossom for Backbone as well. Grab thrown out. TVNT locked in place. Backbone on top of the payload. Ends up trying to burn TVNT, but the Susa comes in just in time. Annihilation and Nemesis form, keeping TVNT alive as he does cross his arms. That damage mitigation is just so immense now from Twisted Minds. Simple Psycho come up and kills in OT. Twisted Minds are going to be able to get this payload in if they can kill these staggers up. Exodial jumps over the tracers, gets back to the point, but it's cut to smithereens. A minute and 20 seconds left in the time back for Twisted Minds as they make their final push here onto third.
So close for Gen.G there. the fact that they had commit both the Death Blossom and the Graviton Surge onto TVNT on the Ramatra, there's just no way they're going to be able to kill that Ramatra. Had they instead tried to make a play on the backline, maybe you win that one, but really difficult spot for Gen.G to be in. And now, a minute on the timer here, Twisted Minds. They have the engage beat if they want it, Jack, but it's 2025.
It is 20. Do not engage beat. It's 2025. Do not engage beat. You've got a rush from Kinel coming up soon. Teleport. Backbone up to high ground. Forces position. Astro in trouble. Tries to get the boot away back. Backbone just punches him square in the jaw. Instant kill onto the Lucio. Psycho now trying to even the playing field, but ends up having to recall back. Kinel hot with the kunais. Now Gen.G can play up a little bit. Twisted Minds. One fight territory, Johnny.
One to fight territory, and Kitsune Rush dropped early from Simple here.
Tread goes super low. Luckily, though, receives that wave just in time. Now the beat can come in. The tables have turned here. Proactive beat from Funny Astro. Tread extremely low, no bubbles remaining, but Kinel trying to keep him alive, but gets out of LOS. Twisted Minds now with a final ditch attempt to get this push, but it will be an overtime finish. Kinel dies and Backbone, oh dear, yeah, looking around, wondering where his support went. Now looking for a final touch here, but it will be a free attack for Gen.G if they let this payload go in, and they're going to be happy about it, that is for sure. A Doomfist change up here for Tread to get back to the point in time, and Crispy very close to this tidal blast, in fact, he's actually got it. Attaches it to Tread, and now he's going to try go for an aggressive play. A knockdown onto Simple, a punch doesn't end up getting him. Simple gets out the way. The movement there from the Kirio, just too good. The kills are flooding in here for Twisted Minds, but an OT finish is all that they can hope for. And Gen.G, they're still happy with this, Johnny. A minute and 57 in the time bank and a free attack on Kings.
2 minutes, they can close it out. They have two probably good team fights here.
Are Gen.G heads back? Are Gen.G heads back? Like,
they haven't won a map yet, but they're looking good. They're looking good. And I feel like this is one of those crucial times in their entire Stage 3 regular season where if you're able to close out this King's Row, tie things up in the series, that's an amazing sign for Gen.G for the future as well. You can make this series competitive. And if you would upset Twisted Minds, I mean, my God, that would be ridiculous considering how they started their stage.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't work out, if we draw, it is a feels bad of all time. It just feels absolutely terrible. So these 2 minutes, Jack, they are critical for Gen.G here in Stage 3.
You had to put the draw into the ether, Johnny. You had to say it.
Dude, it's 2 minutes. There's no guarantee. You have to be clinical here on this attack. Yes, it's one tick, but Twisted Minds are more than capable to defend here for 2 minutes.
Safer defensive option here for Twisted Minds as well. TVNT on the Ram. No Diva, so Tread can't come in with the counter on Zarya. Still going to rock it anyway. We'll see how their high ground control is here. Last time around, remember, Backbone wants to be able to get up to height, force people's position, but not getting shot in the head by Quartz. Well, Exodio got shot in the head by Quartz, so quick reset.
This is so scary because you don't want to compete in the neutral here. Like, you don't want anything to do with this Ram. You kind of have to try to get towards the back line and take space either onto the high ground, put Exodio up there, or if you want to engage through the lobby with your Zarya Reaper and try to find picks. But you can't battle with this Ram. The one thing Gen.G now in this minute, you can't be static. You have to make a decisive play on either of the tanks.
TP. Wow, that is a TP and a half. Backbone already forced a Wraith. Had a bubble applied to him. Now Force sees this as an opening. It's going to spot a couple of players and takes the head off Kinel. Okay, but it's all good though. Exodia and Backbone ends up coming up with kills. Now TVNT is in trouble in Hotel. He's going to use the help of Quartz there, who's bought a little bit of space for him to maybe get back to the point. Shield on the corner, but they're so close to losing this. TVNT shield disappears almost instantly. Suzu, Nemesis form, but he's getting shot in the back by Backbone. A perfect position for the Reaper to be, and that's going to be it, Johnny. Gen.G are going to cap this first point. Exodio comes up with 2, Kinel the same, and Gen.G with a map on the board.
Tying up the series, looking real good. And that TP and that decisive TP in from Backbone just messed up all the positioning the Twisted Minds had and scrambled. Gen.G finds a couple of picks that sets up the fight win, that closes the map out. But looking real good in their map pick. And as we take a look at the scoreboard here, of course, it doesn't look good. I mean, Kinel 13 and 9, they died quite a bit there. but they were able to grind this one out for a map win.
Gen.G heads are rising in chat, and the Twisted Minds predictors, I think, quivering slightly. Swaying, maybe, yeah. It's going to be Twisted Minds now with a map choice. I want to remind you too, Johnny, we spoke about at the very top of this one, Twisted Minds really going for the jugular in terms of bans. Banning Crispy's Lucio, then they're banning the Sim, which Gen.G, well, they like to play, like Backbone especially, a silly hero specialist. And now we go on to a pick of Twisted Minds. They're banning first, of course. Where do you go if you're TM? Where do your strength lies, and where do you think you can trip Gen.G up? Because I think people coming into this stage would have expected Gen.G to be performing at this level versus a team like TM.
Yeah, I think this is a tough choice now for Twisted Minds, because we haven't really seen this team. I mean, they have been pushed, I guess, versus Alcazia, versus Virtus Pro, both 5-map series. But against a team like this, I think it's really tough. I don't think we've seen any decisive trends for Twisted Minds. You know, where they like to go. Obviously, they play a ton of Legion Tower whenever they get the first map pick. But then we've seen Atlas, Suravasa, Junkertown, Rialto. They've actually picked a lot of different maps here at Twisted Minds, and so they don't have like a go-to map pick, I feel like, as much. Now, I actually do feel like they really like this double flex support lineup when they can play it, right? And so maybe you want to play something like an escort map, whether it's Rialto or Junkertown. I feel like those will be both relatively solid picks here for Twisted Minds. But maybe you don't want to target ban as much. I mean, the Symmetra is out of the mix. The Lucio is out of the mix. I feel like it's a really tough choice. I really don't know where you go from here if you're Twisted Minds, besides maybe going towards an escort map.
What do you think about Flashpoint? Because obviously with Flashpoint, there's only one map in the pool, and it is Suravasa. So it's like, you can't really be tricked in any way, but it's like, whoa, they're going to like another Flashpoint map that plays a little bit differently. Although most Flashpoint maps play similarly because of how just kind of fast the game mode is. I'm kind of on the same boat with you when it comes to an escort, but we have like, the escort map pool is kind of crazy. Like, we have Watchpoint Gibraltar, which is like heavy dive. Like, do you think we go there if you're Gen.G? I mean, Shred can play the D.Va, like, it's no problem. Maybe they go there and then ban KSA. It will be Junkertown. Okay, yeah. You see what I mean? Like, with Junkertown too, Watchpoint Gibraltar and Junkertown, they feel like the odd one out in this map pool, because they're very two different styles of play. Like, pure dive Watchpoint Gibraltar, and then Junkertown way more poke style for TM, which actually, to be fair, does favor their double flexible, like you said.
Yeah, and I actually do think that Gen.G, okay, this is crucial actually, we're going to see the Zarya ban and the Pharah ban. I feel like Gen.G, they might actually bring out the Symmetra here, because they like these kind of rotations. You know, this is a reach and a half here, Jack. But okay. Backbone likes 0-second teleport. So, because then you can kind of get into these flanks, right? And try to mess up some of these default positioning that the defense is set up, right? And so I very much could see that Gen.G, they ban out the Pharah here in case they want to play like a Symmetra composition and try to go for some of these teleports to the flank angle, of course. And that as well sets up Exodial, whether you want to play the Bastion or a Sojourn. That's kind of up to you, but I feel like this just says that Gen.G wants to play the Symmetra composition.
He likes heroes that teleport, call him Portal. I think with Backbone and like Symmetra as a whole as well, it's kind of funny because it breaks like conventional standard comps in maps. Do you know what I mean? Like, when it comes to Junkertown, or even look at like Circuit Royale, Junkertown, Watchpoint Gibraltar, Symmetra breaks the kind of archetype where you can just like teleport past chokes. You can teleport past these like giant expanses of maps. And if you're a team like Twisted Minds or even like Gen.G that has a good, well, okay, most top teams in EMEA, funnily enough, have good sim players, but you can kind of, well, you want to play poke? Okay, we'll just play sim. You want to play brawl? Okay, we'll play sim. Like, TP behind you, flip the map on you. Yeah, I think that's actually a really good shout from yourself. And banning the Pharah too is kind of perfect, because that's one big counter to the sim comps, especially in a map like Junkertown, where the skyboxes are like 700 miles long and you can just play where no one can touch you.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a uphill battle here for Twisted Minds because I'm thinking about what should they play in this kind of scenario. So obviously banning the Zarya, you can allow, of course, the D.Va to come into action much more easily if you want to do that. But then I'm thinking about Psycho. Obviously, we haven't seen Yubi on the Symmetra as much for Twisted Minds so far. The stage has pretty much exclusively been Psycho. And, you know, Psycho's good on the Tracer. Can play some of these different heroes, right? But how are we going to solve it against Gen.G?
Don't forget as well to create a FACEIT account today. Also, you can join the FACEIT League, like we picked up on earlier. Start playing, improving, and earn some rewards. In Overwatch 2, you can earn some FACEIT points, and you can redeem them for in-game stuff, which is always really nice. And I think Zoe mentioned as well, there's even a laptop I think you can earn as well with FACEIT points. I don't know, it's great. Zoe's been grinding FACEIT. You already know she is. That's why she's off this weekend, because she's been grinding FACEIT the whole weekend.
She played in the FACEIT Masters playoffs. That's why she's off.
She did, yeah, exactly. You'll catch her there. But yeah, make sure you go check out FACEIT.com and find the Overwatch section and see what you can earn after creating an account. But as we get back into this series, how does kind of Twisted Minds end up responding? Could you just have a sim off, Johnny? Is a sim off like just hey, it doesn't matter. We don't need UB. We could just use TPs and teleports there anyway. Like, it's cool.
I mean, I feel like Twisted Minds should be up for that. It's like, okay, let's have a sim off. We are the better sim team. But I'm kind of getting a little scared here. I guess to finish my point from earlier, it's just that, like, maybe Twisted Minds in Stage 3, they want Psycho to be one of these flexible players that can, like, oh, I'll play the Tracer, I'll play the Pharah if need be. Depending on what composition we're playing, we always want to comp swap, right? And so if we're playing as a Symmetra, like, we want Psycho to play the Pharah. If we need to play the Tracer, then we know Psycho can't do that, right? But I feel like it kind of puts Twisted Minds on the back foot because they are the ones who have to find a way to deal with Gen.G's Symmetra composition. It's like, okay, Backbone is going to TP onto a flank and it's going to make it a little bit awkward. How does Twisted Minds respond? How is their dive execution going to be against what Gen.G are playing? And that's why I'm a little bit scared. It's like, is Twisted Minds going to be able to mitigate the Symmetra without getting picked and then be able to re-engage and win out some of these fights?
I like the Freya pickup though. I think Freya too, not exactly the same as Pharah, but being able to take these hard off angles and just basically spam. Because Backbone, while useful obviously with the TPs, realistically, where the sim is gonna thrive as well is in these brawls where he can just left click TBNT until mech dies as well. So Backbone's life is going to be a little bit hard here. Proactivity is going to be the name of the game, but Twisted Minds, they already know that. They're looking for picks, Johnny. This is basically a pick comp where they can take multiple off angles at the same time.
Right, and so the pressure is on for Psycho and Quartz here. Can you open these things up? Because if our damage players are not getting value, then we're kind of at a bit of a standstill. And I mean, Quartz is throwing in some of these darts right now, but it's not doing a hell of a lot.
Slowly poking away at Tread. There's the TP. And look who's already in the backline already. Simple and Psycho just kind of dominated. And a little bit of damage there from the turrets, but taking 3 different angles at once while Tread is basically like a living totem. He's just kind of on the point, just like, okay, team, you guys need to kill stuff because I am just sat here and hopefully I can duel TBNT. And yeah, he ends up just getting owned. And look at that, instantly swapping over to D.Va to get way more mobility and join in with some of these flank opportunities.
Yeah, so that's a good sign for Twisted Minds. They're able to dive correctly and deal with the Symmetra, like I talked about going into this map. But this is the name of the game now. For the rest of the map, essentially, Psycho have to set up these dives, follow up on Quartz damage from the Freya, and be able to find a way to work the flanks against the Symmetra from Backbone.
He's working it. Simple is going to be following Cycle, basically holding hands on these flanks, like all good support and DPS duos do. Okay, good high ground control though, and this is going to be also beneficial for Backbone as well. Being able to hold this small room here is quite crucial because it leaves room for Exodial to have an escape route. If he does end up getting jumped on, no one can also get through that window. Good luck. There's like 3 turrets looking at you. There's absolutely no...
Yeah, I mean, this is so obnoxious, right? Twisted Minds, I think they're trying to build a support ultimates here before they go. There's a considerate from Kanail actually here.
Wow, Okay, they end up rushing on stairs. Backbone's the one that ends up going down. Perfectly timed Suzu onto Tread, stops him falling over to that tidal blast, but no sim means your backline's way more vulnerable. Bolus ends up getting thrown in by Exodo, but it goes wide, and Twisted Minds have not stopped this payload. They are just keep forcing this position. Crispy's dead, kind of isolated and alone in the mega health pack room, and Twisted Minds, Johnny, this is cat, mate. This is straight up cat.
Yeah, it's cat. Yeah, it's not been a good productive defense from Gen.G. And being staggered so late just means that they won't get a second reasonable fight here. Backbone does find a pick, but this is not going to be enough to hold the second point here.
Yeah, Canal should die. Okay, there's the kill. Remake from Tread. No, denied by Simple. And a recall on Backbone too. So yeah, the cat comes through. Twisted Minds making piecemeal on Gen.G right now. We'll see if Backbone ends up swapping over to something else. Maybe just sticks on Tracer. We'll see Reaper even. No, okay, sticking on Tracer. The experiment with the sim failing.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they want to play the Reaper without the Zarya in this matchup, but I mean, Twisted Minds 4 minute 30 here. Gen.G desperate to put a stop to this offense because Twisted Minds could be running away with this one, Jack.
Now the off angle, Psycho's playing as well. It's got this post bomb too. I mean, ideally here you're forcing Crispy to use this ult defensively. We'll see if Psycho can get it done. But Johnny, look, they're not even contesting Payload right now. Backbone ends up going down again. Simple and Psycho. This duo, the dynamic duo on Twisted Minds, just kind of rolling these flanks like it is. There's nothing really that's stopping them at all. TBNT is now going to be able to take high ground, force Canal to TP, Tidal Blast onto Tread to try and make some room. A nice Suzu there attempted, but Quartz still ends up getting knocked down and killed by Tread.
But I feel like this is Gen.G kind of being exposed here a little bit when they play this Tracer. They're not quite as comfortable here in Twisted Minds. They're going to turn things, dropping double support ultimate. Simple.
Yeah, that's pretty
goes kind of crazy with it.
A little crazy, although now no support ultimates and Kinel can come back with a rush, so you're expecting Gen.G to at least win this next fight.
Yeah, Gen.G should have this next one. That's not a good start, though.
That's not good.
They have the consider rush. They should still close this line.
Yeah, they're going to go first for sure. Quartz ends up going down to Bolus, so 2 ults thrown out. Ideally, Tread doesn't lose mech here. Should be easy to heal him up, though, on the rush. Okay, self-destruct have to be used, but they're not going to get the kill on the Baby Divas, so they're holding on for now, with Twisted Minds backing up, holding S.
Let's see how they can do with these engages, because having this high ground now allows them to be a bit more picky. Can we spot someone out that's maybe in a poor positioning? Can we capitalize, get a pick early? No ultimates on the board here, so you're looking for a proactive play, but that's a poor start with Exodo going down.
Yes, but as well with Gen.G taking their time, it does leave a lot of room for Quartz to work. Like, build up a railgun, land a headshot. Like, you can't give this time or space. Exodio on the Widow. Okay, well,
best of luck.
It's going to be a difference maker, but yeah, someone needs to touch now as well. He just instantly dies. Best of luck indeed. Unfortunately, that luck not found. 2 minutes and 20 seconds in the time back for TM.
And I feel like it all kind of fell apart on that second point, because you give up the first fight on Junkertown, it happens, right? Like, we've all been there on the first point, Junkertown, you lose the first one, okay, go next. But the second point, it's where it gets really oppressive for the attackers, because there's so much high ground for the defense, but it all kind of just crumbled. I mean, look at these stats, Psycho 13 and 0, by the way. But when that Kitsune Wash was dropped from Kinel, you kind of have to win that fight. Backbone's got the teleporter set up above the payload. You got such a superior positioning that it's just absurd, but then you end up losing that fight. You give up all of the second point with really no good fight whatsoever, and that's where the entire defense just fell apart for Gen.G, really.
Same kind of look here for TM on their defense. Twisted Minds looking good. Quartz not on Sojourn. On the Freya, very, very strong on this point, so no surprise there. We'll see if Gen.G on their attack can get this teleporter working, if they even want to lock the sim. It looks like Backbone's just offering Tracer. This kind of Symmetra style stuff, especially on the attack, Johnny. I'm not sure I like it that much, because you're wanting to have one person kind of push the payload and then TP behind onto the giant house where the mini is, and then try and TP on people over and over again. But Twisted Minds comp just doesn't allow you to do that. And in fact, Backbone's just going to go Reaper.
Okay, so playing the Reaper with the D.Va. Kind of see how they play this one. Obviously gonna have a lot of damage coming out in the front line here, but also able to TP aggressively if need be. I've seen them play the Symmetra here in the past, and so I thought that would have suited them. Because you can get into the back and kind of flip with the defense, and then you get good positioning. But in this case, they're opting for a more straightforward approach.
Exodio looking for an opening. Body shot onto Funny Astro. Tempered aggression from Exodio right now. Honestly, all eyes are on this Sojourn because the Reaper's not going to be able to close the gap to actually get a kill. It's more about pressuring out the enemy tank. Oh, that was close. Wow.
That's really close. Yeah, pushing the tank here, of course. And I mean, you have the superior poke damage, right? Because Quartz is over onto this Freya. Quartz probably feeling like he has to lock the Freya in case the Symmetra comes out, you know? But that is going to mean that Exodio is a bit more free on this Sojourning backbone, making the use of the Reaper here.
TP. Double shot simple in the head.
TP heroes.
Yeah, it's actually the TP specialist. Hang on a second, you're cooking.
Me when I flip the map.
His mines are backing off.
They are. They're gonna recontest though.
Yep. Simple's already back. They got space. Quartz is nearing this bolus too. And now Crispy's under a little bit of duress. Has to use that rushing torrent to get away. Even using the Guardian Wave too. That's how early he's under right now. Yeah, very early. TVNT actually ends up losing mech though. On the point is the duel between the two divas. Crispy low, but manages to sneak away, and that's the point. Gen.G. All right, just run it down. All that pressure waylaid onto Crispy, but honestly, took it in stride.
Yeah, Twisted Mind's not really organized at all for that one, actually. They're trying to go for the big wraparound, let the cart go. TVNT just took so much damage from the Sojourn, I can imagine, right there. And now Gen.G, if you're able to kind of set up, because you got that pretty late teamfight win, right? That gives you the opportunity to at least contest this high ground. And if you can set up either for these support ultimates or Exodio, that would be huge.
Ooh, good damage.
Unfortunate pick, though. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, high ground control, all good. There's a lot of burst damage too when you think about the Wu Yang, especially literally like the orbs coming out of nowhere. I think Wu Yang very good on this point on the defense.
Yeah, we'll kind of have to see how Gen.G plays this one, because obviously you could go quite aggressive with the Tidal Blast if you want to, onto Backbone or onto Tread. Backbone goes down to Simple. Look, we all die to Kunai sometimes. It happens.
Dude, he's
Kunais are the new Hanzo arrows.
He's coping. Are they
true,
really? They don't one-shot you though.
No, but
they can two-tap.
They deal enough. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They do. Normally enough for a kill sometimes. Yeah. Kind of bullied right now as Exodio trying to get into position, just staring at the defense matrix, unfortunately, longing for a D.Va nerf. Every hit scan player be like, please nerf D.Va. Oh, should be good though. Self-destruct from Tread, already lost mech. Okay, I mean, not good for Gen.G in all honesty. Backbone as well is going to get forced into this small little corridor. Tidal Blast on Exodio, and everybody from Twisted Minds basically pulling a Houdini and disappearing at as Crispy ends up going down. Gen.G needs to trade right now, and Exodio almost forced to do that himself, feeling the pressure, maybe the weight of his team on their shoulders right now, as Tread ends up losing mech. Backbone fighting on the rush, but once again, everybody from Twisted Minds with a swift disengage away from the Reaper.
There's a lot of ultimates there for Gen.G, and if they end up losing this fight, could spend real bad news, because you pretty much only get one more ultimate cycle. But that's what I thought about. It's like really tough point, second point here, because they tried to go for a really aggressive engage, but Twisted Minds do an amazing job at backing off. Now though, of course, getting picked, but still though, even though you get a pick early like this, you need two essentially to give yourself a chance. Backbone's on the card though.
On Exodio, and that's exactly where Backbone wants to be. Exodio with another opening pick. All right, Simple down. Quartz is coming back from spawn in just a moment. TVNT is still with remake, so it is contestable for Twisted Minds. But TVNT is going to need to sacrifice this mech to be in with a chance. Crispy is pretty low, in fact 1 HP. Astro weaves the water orb straight to the back of Crispy's head. And now Exodio comes up dead as well. So Gen.G again, like falling almost at the final hurdle. Should be a quick reset. They're going to have another opportunity. But Twisted Minds, they're kind of pushing Gen.G to the limit. But they're in a better spot here, I'd argue, Johnny, with Backbone and Team Tread being able to play on point. But a good stagger will cost them at least a little bit of time.
Yeah, Twisted Minds are just doing a great job at, playing around Gen.G. You can saw there was a lot of people on card when Twisted Minds went for that re-engage. And they're able to get value from some of these off angles. This backline from Twisted Minds and Psycho as well. Getting a ton of value here. Kanale is going to come up on this Kitsune Rush, so could trade with Simpler. A minute to go, Jack. I'm starting to feel like this is kind of the team fight you need to win here if you're Gen.G.
Yeah. And if you do win this fight decisively, that payload's yours, that checkpoint's good. TVNT under a lot of duress though. There's the self-destruct, but where's the baby diva? Every trying to run away from it. Oh, a quick teleport away there from Backbone. Manages to get out of the way. An explosion just in time. Rush onto the point, but the same one's going to be laid down by Twisted Mind. Suzu Air on the backline as Backbone tries to find a teleport engagement. Ends up killing one onto Simple as Psycho. Oh, he's sneaking around right now. Spots the payload in motion, but needs to get on a little bit of an adventure on his own. Kaneo ends up TPing to his death as the tidal blast attached now to Psycho. Gets the knockdown, and actually the blast explosion kills the mech of Tread. Overtime approaching here for Gen.G. 30 seconds to go, and without a mech, Tread has to play safe. But Quartz, Astro, they're coming up with the goods, then the kills, and this is a horrible spot for Tread to be in. This stagger is going to cost them the round, and it's going to cost them the map as well. Tread's going to be last to spawn. A beat engagement required here for Gen.G to stay alive in this.
Yeah, Exodial has to pop off here. Pops the overclock actually. Goes aggressive, slides. But Twisted Minds again, they're just hiding so well, Jack.
Sound barrier connects with 3. Tread coming back on the ball. Tread is going to get here in just a moment. It's funny, Astro actually ends up buying the ducks. 4v5 on the point as Quartz uses this overclock. He ends up spotting the enemy Sojourn, but Quartz a little bit too tricky here on the backline, refusing to be put down. As Tread's now trying to just put Quartz in his place. Eventually, the Wrecking Ball does end up coming up with the kill, and TVNT gets demeched. It's very winnable for Gen.G. High ground control here for Simple, but Tread is just going to be chasing this Kiriko as the point is contested by Gen.G this entire time. Clutch Gene indeed. Gen.G, they end up coming up with the point, but they got a minute and 20 on the board to try and get this final point under their belts.
Yeah, that's one of the fights where Quartz has to be kicking himself. Had a great opportunity with the overclock to get some value, but couldn't find it. And Gen.G just brawl it out on the point, which is kind of the strategy they've been going with so far on this Junkertown. A minute left, like you said. This is going to be a very tough fight, but an early pick onto Simple. Gen.G are just getting let back into this map.
Whoa, back. I was surprised in Daicho's own pulse bomb there. Nice kill onto Quartz though, yeah. Twisted Minds are very much unlocking, opening the door, at least ajar, for Gen.G to cap. 45 on the clock, Johnny.
They have a rush. Kanale has a rush advantage here. Maybe Simple can't build it in time. It's looking like he will. But this could be another great fight for Gen.G if they go early here. See, TVNT is contesting space, dropping quite low. Has to self-destruct. Pulse bomb gets no value, but that's recall force. Gen.G, they got solid positioning here and should be able to Kitsune Rush effectively.
Yeah, and Tread's in the mix as well. He ends up backing up all the way to that Mega Health Pack. Has got the self-destruct for a remake. A rush going to be used here from Twisted Minds. They didn't end up losing anybody in that initial fight, Johnny. Crispy ends up going down. And because TM don't lose anybody, they can just rush back in. This is going to be an easy fight for them. And an OT push here for Gen.G is what is required. Tread is going to be able to get the final touch here for Gen.G. However, Astro's got the tidal blast in 15%. Crispy has to go nuclear for Gen.G now. Ends up getting it under, but no, can't quite save the mech. Quartz ends up going down, however. Tread ends up getting remech, but is it enough? Tidal blast on TVNT. Jumps to the backline, but that baby diva not long for the world. Psycho picks up the kill onto Kanale as Quartz is hunting for heads, but they've got the person advantage and the health advantage too on the point, with Tread being in mech. A double kill for Backbone in the end is going to save Gen.G, and they get the cap and have a minute in their time back left.
How? How do they do it? That was not supposed to happen. That was supposed to be Twisted Minds turning things around with their own Kitsune Rush, finding the picks, and then pushing the spawn doors of Gen.G. But Gen.G just stay alive? How does Exodial not go down? How does Kanale not go down? And how does Crispy get back with the sound barrier that he hadn't built in time? That was absurd. Gen.G should not have closed out this map. They should not have been let into this overtime scenario.
Managed to hit the beat. It hits Tread. Tread gets remake.
Oh my lord. I can't believe it.
They survive. 3 minutes and 20 seconds though on the Twisted Minds time bank, Johnny. It's still a large deficit for Gen.G.
Hardy theory.
Hardy theory
is the co-streamer of the day. Hardy.
The spirit of London Spitfire lingers.
Channeling to
Always
backbone.
remain.
Yep. It's a tough scenario
on the defense here, Johnny. They go in the same kind of route. Funny Astro on the Wu Yang, Simple on the Kiri. They've had Simple and Psycho taking these hard off angles.
Well, I feel like Twisted Minds have been playing well so far. So it's really just about execute. I think we saw early on what Gen.G wants to do, right? And it's backbone on this Reaper. He finds a way to teleport into these really good areas where he has some protection. He's not getting caught. But he's able to get on top of these backliners for Twisted Minds, or whether it's Quartz. And, you know, he gets the support. The supports join him. Whether it's Kanale, Crispy, they follow up with backbone. And they really flip things. So if you're Twisted Minds, you know that this Reaper is going to be an issue. You have to keep your eyes peeled on backbone.
The backbone's going to be Payload Princess, Johnny.
Is it up?
Yeah, maybe Tread actually takes that position, that crown instead. They're trying to make it to this car, but look at this pressure they're under already. Oh,
They flipped it.
needs an opening pick. They ended up flipping it, but Johnny, look at Tread's mech. It's 1 HP. They ended up just running over him. And now Tread without a mech. I mean, Twisted Minds, they just need to play safe, play for picks. Backbone forced to raid form. Tread, Baby Diva ends up going down, so not even a chance to get back in the mech. And oh, it was going to be dicey anyway. Not sure I'd call that a C9, but Gen.G get off the point. Twisted Minds hold. And this golden box of victory, Johnny, is in a rough spot just under that bridge. Ugh. I don't envy them. Put it that way.
Yeah. Gen.G, they had to go for a pick there, so I agree with you. It's not a C9 because they had to go for a pick, and, you know, Exodial had to get busy, get involved, try to turn things around. But good play from Twisted Minds there, recognizing then that, okay, well, if you're going to commit the entire team to rotate, then we're just going to spam Tread, and we're going to put pressure on Tread, and then someone has to touch the card, right? So, you know, credit to Twisted Minds, really well played. If you're Gen.G now, I mean, I don't know, man. How do you win this one, indeed?
That is an evil gold box of victory. Like, it's just on the corner. I guess you can kind of like jiggle the corner a little bit, and you can play around it, but like, if you lose that first fight, that's a cap pretty much. Like, that whole area near the bridge is like, okay, well, it's kind of over if we lose 1 to 2 players. Like, it's done. It's very tough to hold.
If this was old Overwatch,
Backbone on a Reaper. Yeah, go on.
there would have been like some, let's start off the car wash. Let's get the main pick going.
The car
let's
wash?
do something.
Dude,
let's do something silly.
All I'm saying.
They do have backbone, but now I feel like in this day and age, there's so many heroes like Freya, Venture, that like kind of just make it really difficult, right? And so Gen.G, they kind of just have to play the default here and try to execute and try to get some entry picks here from Exodial.
Okay, well, yep. Calling for it. Exodial needs the picks. They're going to try and go in early, actually. Simple suited himself. Quartz very low, manages to slide away. They can't overextend, though. They cannot afford to lose Tread to make this early. In fact, oh, what a shot. Okay, beautiful stuff. They trade Sojourns, though. 4-on-4. Backbone forced to Wraith form. Now stabilization is required. Spawn advantage for Twisted Minds as they try and make their move again. Tread extremely low. Can't lose Mech, though. Getting chased down by TVNT. A good emergency Suzu for Kanale, but where's the additional healing on top? Mech down. And Gen.G's defense crumbling. And that will be a Twisted Minds win on Junkertown. And they're going to take match point in the series.
Yeah, Twisted Minds playing the cart really beautifully there on Junkertown. Playing the objective. Moving away from Gen.G's game plan of rotating, you know, playing the rotation game. Twisted Minds just say like, okay, well, we're going to play the cart. And we're not going to let you take those angles and have the superior positioning. Psycho 32-2. I told you before this map, like Psycho was a pivotal player because Psycho obviously has so much impact when it comes to breaking down these rotations from Gen.G. And Psycho, I mean, that was a masterful Junkertown from him.
Yeah, Psycho doing a little bit of coaching, obviously, as well for TM. That was in mid-season. I mean, Psycho still a beast. Still a beast. I like this, though, in the respect that Gen.G are performing, I think, above expectations right now.
Right.
I think considering their last few games that they've had, like, and especially even just the start of the season, everybody's been very disappointed. And you could see that even in the chat threads as well, right? It was like 92-8 or something silly.
No, it's a meme.
Yeah, it's a meme. Yeah, I guess, yeah, kind of.
Oh, the Zoom.
The Zoom.
I see your production.
I like that.
Okay.
Okay.
But that's why I'm standing up to the meme. I'm like,
okay,
hey, I know Gen.G is a meme. The crusty pipe. I know all of this stuff. But that's why I'm trying to rally the community. I'm just trying to shake you, like wake you up. It's just like, hey, I know Gen.G is a bit of a meme here, but like they actually have been playing well in the past couple of weeks, and they are improving week to week. And I think we're seeing that in this series today. That like, hey, they're down 2-1 in the series, but I think they're playing way better. Like throughout the entire series. Obviously, Ilios was very tough, but I think they're making the right decisions. And this was a tough kind of like counterpick map because I think you saw, you know, Backbone was on the back foot for most of that series. This was not Gen.G playing their go-to game, and so it's a great map pick by Twisted Minds. But when Gen.G are allowed to play their own game, I think they're really taking it to some of these teams, like even Twisted Minds.
Yeah, which is honestly a big spark for them, because thinking about the playoffs too, we have Quick who are going to get relegated. They are in the 8th spot, 0-6. That 7th spot obviously still open. We heard from Good Guys earlier that, you know, there is a possibility that they do end up making it above Gen.G, above Team Peps. Like, Gen.G aren't exactly locked. There is a real scenario where they can get relegated, but if they can continue this kind of trend, maybe playoffs is where they thrive. I mean, there's also going to be the patch as well, right? So also something to kind of think about. Maybe that kind of, well, it literally could do anything. It could throw them off their game more, or it could really help them as well. So yeah, kind of at this point in time, probably not something worth thinking about. But
can I say this?
Performing this way, you're looking.
Well, we're on the topic of playoffs.
Okay.
There's 3 spots in EMEA. 3 spots, right? Alcacia is going to get 1. Okay.
Yes.
Alcacia is going to get one of those. So there's 2 spots up for grabs. I think we'd say that Twisted Minds versus Pro are the front runners. Does Team Vision have an outside shot at getting 3rd? Like maybe the meta messes something up and suddenly Vision, like they're the 3rd best team, they upset either Twisted Minds versus Pro.
As long as it's a double flex meta, I think.
Right.
Violet, yeah, I think, yeah, if I can just play Kiri and stuff and like other like hard,
I'm just saying,
support players, support.
Gen.G wants to be in the conversation for 3rd.
Right.
They don't want to be the favorites. They want to be in the conversation for an outside underdog chance. And I think that they're trending in that direction. However unlikely that might feel, because 8% of you only bet on Gen.G. Gen.G wants to be in the conversation, and I think they're kind of getting there. They're in the right meta at the right time. They could upset some of these teams. They're down 2-1 to Twisted Minds. But it's not about this matchup. It's about the matchup in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or 3 weeks.
3 weeks. I wonder, out of the predictions as well, I wonder if people would have voted 3-0 for TM here. Or maybe a 3-1.
Yes.
Like,
yes,
what would have been the pred coming in? I think a majority of people would have gone, okay, we're going to go 3-0. Maybe there's a few like 3-1 Andys out there going, okay, we'll give Gen.G a map. We'll just slide it in there just in case they end up popping. Esperanza, a comebackable map, Johnny. Like you said in the last series, like anything's possible on push. So that's where Gen.G are taking us. Let's have a look at the top bands from this stage in EMEA. Wu Yang, D.Va, Lucio, Zarya, and Sim in the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, they're very defining heroes, right? Like Wu Yang, I think has been integrated into OWCS and opens things up to play a lot of dive compositions, right? Lucio, a lot of Lucio one tricks out there. You ban the Lucio, and they're screwed. They're like, what am I gonna play? Juno? Something? So these are all like very strong heroes, of course, that help open up and enable some of these compositions. And so Wu Yang is going to get banned here from Twisted Minds, which I am a little surprised by, because I think Gen.G will play this one a little bit more straight up. I think they just want to lean on the symmetric composition and play something like a Lucio Kiri in this one.
Yeah, that feels like their comfort is definitely like the Lucio Kiri, right? Or like you want to put Crispy on Lucio ideally. I think you've got to ban Psycho out. I think Tracer ban is perfectly reasonable here. Get Psycho Tracer out of the mix. Like, it was too nasty. Like we saw in the stats before, he died like twice, bro. Like, yeah, the guy's on fire right now. But what do you pivot if you're Psycho here? Because You have Gen.G who are more than happy to go the Sim or even the Reaper with Backbone. Like, how do you as Psycho right now, Johnny? What are you picking?
So this is kind of what I talked about going back a map ago, where it's like, what is Psycho's role in this team? Are Twisted Minds just going to become like a counter swap team? Because if so, they're counting on Psycho in these situations when Tracer is banned to go to the best hero possible. Is that something like you know, like a Venture or something like that, like a Pharah? We saw Pharah banned earlier by Gen.G, of course, that can shut down some of these Symmetra compositions. Or are you more like a Tracer Symmetra team? In this situation, Tracer's banned. Do you count on Psycho being able to play the Symmetra? And we have seen Psycho play some Symmetra early on in this stage, but going head to head against Gen.G, who very much want to play the Symmetra, it's a bit of a scary mirror matchup if you're Twisted Minds, I think.
Let's have a look what they want to rock and roll with.
I'm not going to get baited by this spawn, still though. I know we're seeing these heroes right now. I'm not being baited. I'm not allowing myself to get baited in 2025.
Bastion works on this map. Bastion heads, Bastion mains.
Yeah, this is a good hero. Yeah,
TP.
yeah.
Like, this is he's a good hero. It's especially a good hero now with the perks. Like, the extra nade is crazy, bro. It is ridiculous. You're just like a nade spam hero, pretty much. You're playing Worms, spamming like the red frag nade over and over again.
It's so silly. The tactical grenade form shifting perk. Costa, get on that. Costa, get on that.
Costa,
it's broken.
Get on the frag nade. You gotta nerf it. Yeah, it is.
It's actually
silly.
Have you played Bastion with this? Like, it feels insane. Look at that.
This is a really good comp as well against the Zarya. The Zarya just gets melted. A very clutch Suzu, though, from Canal ends up saving Tread. But now this is the time to strike as well if you're TM. As soon as the Bastion comes out of form, run at that guy. Disassemble him. Looks like they're going to be able to do just that. Good stuff, actually, from Gen.G. Tempered in how they want to play. And honestly, that was on Canal there. If Tread doesn't survive with the help of that Suzu, that fight is lost.
Yeah, this is really interesting, actually, as these team names are flipped, actually. Because Gen.G, they're not going to play the Symmetra like I talked about and how that's going to go to composition for them. It feels like they're just way more in on the Zarya Reaper overall. It's what they played throughout most of this series. And so they obviously think that if we bubble Backbone here, he's going to set us up and give us a good chance of winning these team fights.
There's form already from Quartz. Tread not giving him the space, though, to shoot at him. Bot's in an awkward spot. Twisted Minds are moving it slowly. TVNT can jostle the corner, waiting for another form to come up. It's definitely going to help now that they're playing on a rush. It's basically infinite forms, but funny Astro first of all. And now as Tread is going to get taunted by TVNT. Late rush too. And look at Twisted Minds' position, Johnny. They've ended up taking the bot, but Backbone ends up picking off Simple. And now TVNT really doesn't have anything to do with the rest of this fight.
I can't believe they came back into the other one.
Really not working out.
Yeah. It's really not working out for Twisted Mind so far, but they're going to stay committed to this Bastion composition for now. Gen.G, though, they're going to have the positioning here. They have Sound Barrier and Overclock. It's a big advantage for Gen.G this one. If you can secure the cap early, that would be amazing news. Let's see how Crispy utilizes this Sound Barrier with the teleporter inbound.
Please. Okay, we're good.
Don't they?
Like rotation as well. Nah, they're good. Don't worry. Crispy's got this. Mech, though, destroyed. TVNT out of Mech. Doesn't get the remake, but that bot's been stolen. TVNT very low, though. Graviton Surge and Sound Barrier available for Gen.G. And they're going to be able to stall that at least for a moment as Backbone uses the Wraith form to able to stop the steal of the bot. Graviton Surge. Uh-oh. Well, that's the teleport. See you later. It got one, but not for long. Oh, there's still a Sound Barrier available for Gen.G as well. Bot is pushing. They need to stop this checkpoint, but no, there we go. Gen.G capped the points, and they've still got beat, Johnny.
Yeah, and they're going to retreat here. Canale getting picked is bad news, obviously. Opportunity for Twisted Minds to chase if they want to, but get a late stagger onto Backbone there as well. I think if you're Gen.G, you got the cap. You have to be quite happy with that. So Gen.G here now, still in a pretty good position.
Yeah. Yeah, they got beat. They got Death Boss, and let's get a quick listen in as they set up for the next fight.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm going point.
Yeah, Diva close.
Do one.
Shoot myself.
Getting up the bus. Drop. Mashing over the TV. Walkman. No one. Get me turn. How back? It's fine, go back. Can you live? Run.
That's really good.
Alright, it's fine. What they use? Nothing?
They use Kyrie. They have beaten some
Kyrie?
more.
Beat some more.
Close to Eva.
You guys wanna walk from right? I can pressure.
Yeah, we can. Close to Kyrie.
Okay, they're holding close.
Both supports. We can start. I'm here. You can walk. I can probably one point. I can walk up, man.
DB point. They wanna flip so bad.
I can touch it. Can we fight?
Yeah. They're on live.
One of two.
Diva.
I'm
on top as well.
I'm probably getting one.
I can collect next one.
Well deployed there by Twisted Minds. Of course, is going to use his Meteor Strike as well as the Orbital Barrage even as well. The sound barrier is good for Gen.G though. They've stolen the bot away, and Exodial finds 2 kills with the Disruptor shot. Psycho Simple dead. They've stolen the bot as well, resetting it into the mid. That self-destruct isn't going to do any damage at all. As Exodial finds another kill onto TVNT. Could make it a clean 5 as well. For the Astro isn't going to give them a chance though. Quartz is going to back off, but he's in such an obvious spot here, Johnny. This is a crazy stagger here from Twisted Minds. Quartz's position, I think he just has to jump off the map. Backbone ends up cleaning up the kill, and they're getting the bot moving. They stole it away. They've reclaimed the checkpoint and the forward spawn.
And because crucially they got the cap earlier, they also have so much room to progress now as well. Twisted Minds going to be forced to back off here. This is going to enable Gen.G some kind of positioning here and set up. Exodial already poking on the high ground here. Rounding this corner is going to be insanely difficult, but even if you can just get out the Kitsune rush here and then retreat, that would be a huge win for Gen.G.
Yeah, maybe just fight here. On the main stretch. A little bit of energy garnered by Tread. Popping the bubble onto Backbone, and now they set up for a Death Blossom. Just wait for the bubbles, just chill on the corner, don't need to force anything. And like you said, just get Twisted Minds to use ult to force them to dump to try and win the fight straight up. TP from Backbone. Okay, now they're getting pushed back a little bit more. Gravity Surge closing in as well. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you're just fighting for ult.
You can get a go here, I think. Susie used as well.
Yeah, Gravity
It's a big
Surge
grab.
to the back. No, Esports stuck in place. I mean, they teleport out there for TVNT, but they've still got control of the bot to Gen.G, and it's on their side of the map. Finding Astro in no man's land. Enemy territory in the back line. Note that Lucio's not going to be a factor for too much longer here. They're basically fighting a 5-on-3 in the main. Astro eventually joins the rest of the team, but look, again, Gen.G have managed to flip the map on Twisted Minds. A teleport away, Psycho deleted. And Gen.G, Johnny, they are walking away with this one. And they're saving 3 ults. This is ultimate economy looking stellar.
Yeah, I mean, strategically, I think they're playing so smart right now. We heard in the listen in earlier how pivotal Backbone is in making some of these calls. And now Exodial early trying to make a play here with the overclock, and they're pushing all while this is going on. So Gen.G playing really smart right now, making things difficult for Twisted Minds.
I really enjoy those really early aggressive pushes there around that corner. Just go first. You know Bastion's going to have to form at some point, then you can disengage like it's chill. All right, here comes the Bastion.
Beat.
Sound barrier coming in though. Quartz might be in trouble. A defense will deploy, but funny, Astro's already dead. Sound barrier connects with everybody, of course, on Twisted Mind's side, but Astro going down isn't a good start. Backbone looking for a backstab now as he's spotted Simple. Oh, he's wall dancing, but he cannot escape Backbone. He's too sneaky with it. And Twisted Minds, Johnny, they are getting torn to smithereens right now. A self-destruct kills Backbone, but they still manage to kill TVNT. And only now, Twisted Minds have changed up their comp.
Yeah, so here comes that Farah that we talked about earlier. Was banned because Gen.G were scared of it coming out, but already got 96 meters in the lead right here. And you can see they're happy to just back off. Well, take the high ground. Another question becomes, how do we deal with this Farah then? Exodial obviously playing Sojourn. Less hits again, where Projectile has to hit one of these big rails. Tread coming up on this Graviton Surge, and there's no Diva on the field as TVNT has swapped over to this Hazard. So Gen.G, they should have free pickings about how they want to utilize this Graviton Surge.
Rush from Simple. Under the bridge, Twisted Minds trying to move towards this mid push, but Gen.G are just going to throw the grab in. A good Suzu, a good wall too is going to elevate them slightly, but damage done. Exodial Backbone come up with the kills needed. You're Gen.G, Johnny, and you're on push. You don't mind just fighting over this checkpoint. This is classic Esperanza. Get checkpoint, fight on high ground. Get checkpoint, fight on high ground. Make them burn ults, and we just win. There's no ults in the back of Twisted Minds, and there's a minute to go. Oh, whoops, Cadelans are going down, but Johnny, it's still good. They're fighting on the rush. He didn't rush Jax, so they still come up with kills.
Yeah, 4 versus 3 scenario right now. You only have Exodial, though. Yeah, it's tough. You lose 2 critical members, so actually, even though you were in a 4 versus 3, you lose your Kiriko, you lose Backbone on the Reaper, and it becomes quite difficult to win that one out. Tread with some extra stall there as well. But yeah, if you just think about this map so far, 40 seconds to go here, of course. But Twisted Minds has had a really difficult time at getting an advantage in any of these fights because Genji has played it so well. Exodial here now. Only ultimate on the field. Big overclock. Has the potential to close this map out and tie us up in the series.
Give Crispy enough time though, Johnny. He's going to have sound barrier. Funny Astro not too far behind either. It is crucial for Astro to get this online. A nice little flank for Exodo, and that's a shot and a half too. Double tap Psycho, 4v5, looking for more. Quartz taking the 1v1, but the bot has been stolen. Genji walking this one away, and Twisted Minds have to touch. Quartz is down, Simple too, the bot stolen. And we're going to a map number 5. Gen.G doubters in shambles.
Oh, the 92%. Everyone in Twitch chat are freaking out. They bet all the channel points, and we're going to map 5 with Gen.G looking amazing in this mirror matchup. I'll say it again. Every single fight, it feels like they have the upper hand. They're rotating super well. They have the high ground advantage. They're recognizing what Twisted Minds want to do, and they won't let them have it. It brings me back specifically to that fight when we listened into Gen.G, and Backbone just said like, hey, they want to flip so bad, they want to play the Symmetra wall, we're not going to let them, we're going to touch the card here, and then we'll win out this team fight. Gen.G are looking fantastic right now, and Twisted Minds struggling to adapt accordingly. The Pharah pick came in late, the Hazard came in pretty late, pretty desperate hero picks, don't you think?
Yeah. They start with this Bastion comp for what, 8 minutes? I think it was like 2 minutes 10 or something. They end up changing, Johnny. So really kind of, how do I say, like rigid mindset coming in, right? Where like we like the Sim and the Bastion on this map, and it has been proven to work. Bastion especially at the hands of Quartz, right? But Gen.G come in with a game plan. Okay, we got Backbone, can just flex, but the Reaper's good for us, and we can engage, wait for the form, disengage, engage, wait for the form, disengage, and then engage again. Like, man, Gen.G are playing just beautiful Overwatch right now, and coming to the table and kind of countering what Twisted Minds are doing. We're going to a map number 5, Johnny. TM choosing again, and no one expecting this. We're going to Gen.G going to a map 5 versus Twisted Minds. Like, this is one of the biggest upsets I think we've seen in EMEA so far. Take a look at the stats from the last game too.
Yeah, this would be an absolutely crazy upset, and it would be the biggest upset we've seen so far in stage 3. A lot of people came in and were just like, oh, it's 3-0, it's gonna be 3-0 territory, very one-sided. Gen.G says, wait a second. 84 eliminations to 40. I know it's elims, I know it's not final blows, but still. Like, that just kind of explains how dominant Gen.G have been so far. And honestly, if we're reflecting on the series so far, like Backbone, again, I'll just say it has to be player of the match for me. Because Backbone, if you talk about what did Gen.G do poorly at the start of the stage and what are they doing well now, I think one crucial thing I mentioned earlier was that Backbone was overextending at times. So like would TP in, would play Venture and go in on the Venture, end up being picked, and then Gen.G are on like a 4 versus 5 situation, and you're gonna lose 4 versus 5 situations all the time, right? I feel like now you find this balance for Gen.G where Backbone's not overextending, but the team supports him. Hey, I want to TP in as Reaper right now. Give me the bubble. Give me the bubble. And the team trusts Backbone that now is the right time to engage. He's getting the support necessary. And Backbone is crucial also making the right decisions, teleporting to the right places. And that helps them set up some of these teamfight wins. And then, you know, if Exodial is popping off with a hit scan, you got a recipe for success because you're taking the team fights the right way, and you got your hitscan player playing his favorite hero on the Sojourn, which was not the case at the start of the stage.
Man, people coming into today thinking it'll be a rather simple one, done and dusted. Hey, look at that. Alcad 3-0, TM 3-0, but we're going to a map 5. And where are we going? Of course, it's Suravasa, the only flashpoint mode in the pool right now. So where, if you're Twisted Minds, Johnny, where do you target this ban?
Oh, this is so tough. Have we seen the Reaper ban? I don't think we've seen the Reaper. Like, are you gonna ban Reaper? Like, why not? There it is.
The Reaper ban. I mean, it's got to come through. Like, you were just illustrating perfectly there, Johnny. Backbone has really been the difference maker throughout the stage, and then like, hey, this is almost one of your final games. Like, and to be honest with you, Johnny, like, okay, hear me out. Don't want to get too ahead of myself.
Right.
But Gen.G look good here. Their last matches against Alcadzia, obviously a very different opponent to Twisted Minds. They're currently number 1, only losing 2 maps so far against Twisted Minds at the very start of the stage. But you're feeling confident if you take the win. It's a Wu Yang ban on the other side of things too. So it's just Lucio's all day today, at least on Suravasa. So
yeah, I mean, Gen.G, they still want to brawl, right? And it is a brawl heavy map, so they don't want any of this poke shenanigans with the Wu Yang coming out. I very much expect Psycho to continue playing the Tracer because I feel like Psycho has the upper hand when it comes to the Tracer in this one. Yeah, I feel like the big question here for Gen.G is now then with Reaper banned, are you going to go over to that Symmetra style, which we've seen less of today, or are you going to try to take this Tracer matchup, which I think Backbone would be at a severe disadvantage at?
yeah, I've seen the hashtags in the chat, by the way. Hashtag,
what are they hashtagging?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for sharing.
Backbone. No worries. I'm just doing a public service. Now, with Backbone, obviously the Reaper being banned, I think this sim look is going to look very good for them. Kaneo just going to speed ring out, go to Kiriko, but this is the matchup that's going to be maybe a little bit tough here. Tread versus TVNT. How do you see this Hazard matchup going against Tread here on the Zarya?
Yeah, naturally, Gen.G were hoping that Twisted Minds were going to roll out on a Diva, but the Hazard actually could prove pivotal when it comes to slashing either the Sojourn or the Symmetra. And you can see a bit of a dive there for Twisted Minds. Gen.G just have to play the neutral for now, but Psycho already leaving a mark with this Tracer pick.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you can only ban Tracer once. Exodio going down like that. And this would, oh my god, he got another one. Jesus. All right, yeah, Psycho. Honestly, look at the first couple of maps, Johnny, when he was playing Tracer. The stats were just phenomenal, like out of this world. So you're expecting Psycho to come out with this. I'm like, bro, do you play Torb? Torb, like a Torb to counteract the Backbone. I mean, I like Tread's pickup, actually. Going Diva instead is definitely going to help subdue Psycho a little bit if he wants to go heavy.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think Zarya Symmetra would have been way too vulnerable to TVNT's Hazard. Now you have to play a bit more neutral and hope that Backbone can hold up in the Tracer matchup. Exodio has to find the opening picks here for Gen.G.
Tread's already kind of low here. But like you said, it's all on these Sojourns, especially on this first point as well. It's just such an easy straightaway. But Twisted Minds, they can just jostle the point. Like TVNT gets on, he gets off, recharge Spike Guard, etc. Psycho's nearing this pulse bomb though, and that's the easy way to open your way up. Early rush though from Simple. A lot of early damage and early healing. Crispy goes down. That's going to be first point as well, because Tread is going to get demected in a matter of seconds. There it is. So, okay, first point over to Twisted Minds. But we'll see if Gen.G have made the adaptations required. Even Backbone deciding Sim's not it. Go and Tracer.
Yeah, this becomes really difficult now for Gen.G because this is not at all what they are comfortable playing. As we've seen, they like teleporting. You called it!
I told you! I told you!
I called it! The Torb!
The Torb! I told you!
But they needed something like this. They wouldn't have won this map with the Tracer, and so Backbone opting for the Torb pick to change things up.
Told you. Turret's down. Torb. It's good. All good. Psycho dead. Okay. Now we can move in. 5v4. Twisted Minds. Sound barrier. Big Zodio is going to have a perfect line of sight here on this point, and it's going to be an easy contest as well. Sound Barrier comes in for Twisted Minds, hits 3. They want to go hot and heavy here as Exodial just dashes over the wall. And now TVNT's in trouble. Has got the downpour available to him too. Psycho narrowly escapes death there, forced to recall, but Backbone is down. Torbjorn bites the dust sadly, but the point, at least for Gen.G, might be able to get capped here with Exodial putting out immense amounts of pressure. They've decided to forgo the capture point, at least for the time being, and actually rotate with this overclock. A double tap onto Quartz, no slide available. Twisted Mind cap anyway.
Soundbarrier is still available for Crispy here, and if you're just able to put pressure onto the point, and then maybe Soundbarrier to try and catch someone, Twisted Minds are very much in it.
Johnny. Trent, I think he's going to have to go for the self-destruct here. A small little remake. Soundbarrier does end up coming in just in time, so he can get that one down. Kineo, Backbone come up with kills. Still, though, Twisted Minds with about 30 or so % on the board. This is where this comp, I think, Gen.G really thrives, Johnny, defending the point with the Torb.
Yeah, and TVNT, will he swap here? From the Hazard, he's going to stick with it, struggling so far. It's going to be the Diva. Makes sense, but still, Gen.G, with this Torb swap, they're suddenly playing a bit more like Brawl, right? Like, Torb is going to help out in the front lines with Tread. Obviously, very sustain heavy. Torb has that extra armor. And so Twisted Minds, they still have to play the rotation game. They still have to rely on Psycho, opening things up on this flank. You can't go head-to-head in the neutral. You have to work the angles. Now the rush, though.
Molten Core available. Rush on the point. Molten Core lays on it, kind of. Oh, he mostly got it on there. 6th player down there. Turret dead for Backbone. And it is going to be Canel trying to jostle the point right now. Trying to keep this one alive. Tread going dangerously low. Same with the rest of Gen.G, though. TVNT just kind of standing up like a tall mountain giant on the point. Anybody kind of approaching TVNT is just getting shredded. A team kill for Twisted Minds and a cap, but Gen.G on 81.
Yeah, Gen.G in a really good spot right now with Backbone going to make the swap again with TVNT over onto the Diva. Then we feel way more comfortable playing the Symmetra. So you saw earlier, Backbone doesn't want to play this hero when he's up against a Hazard. Against a Diva, though, feeling way better. But nice pick from Psycho.
Reset, 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 reset. Die, go again, go again.
They should have taken the Symmetra teleporter.
Yeah, Symmetra TP plus Lucio speed. You're good. Don't die late. Oh, Quartz. Exodial, sorry. They do end up getting the wave respawn, though, Johnny. But yeah, I don't think you even touch it, do you?
No, they can't touch, actually. Yeah, it's too late, indeed.
Wow.
That's a great pick from Psycho, though. Finding that pick when the teleporter came in just secured the point for Twisted Minds there. That was a huge individual pick. Great play from Psycho.
Yeah, beast. Soundbarrier, funny Astro. Beat advantage here, but Gen.G have got the rush. They can start this one off pretty early if they want to. Backbone on Tracer. 3rd hero swap here for the British man. We'll see Exodial using Overclock. And yeah, Twisted Minds pull another Houdini, just disappear. TMNT taking a lick of damage, but not exactly anything that's going to be dove upon. Now they got a rush though. Susie used fairly early, but Kineo can sit on that one to get that cooldown back pretty quickly. And now Quartz can have a little bit of time in the sun with the overclock. Oh, taking a lot of damage though, has to back up. Couple of headshots, however, slung towards Gen.G players in the back line. Crispy and Kineo dead. Gen.G crumbling there at the very end. Simple with a later rush. Twisted Minds, Johnny, feels like a really good read on how Gen.G want to use their ults. They always have one in the spare back pocket.
Yeah, they feel way more comfortable in this mirror. They've been dominating so far on the Suravasa, as you can see in the stats. And Gen.G, they just feel a little bit frazzled right now. Going early with the overclocks, Twisted Minds disengaged appropriately here. Crispy, he has to be clinical with this sound barrier now. Can't mess it up. Can't go early, can't go late.
That just has to go after Astro here. I think that's what you're hoping for if you're Gen.G. Or even Backbone landing a stick, but historically, obviously not a Tracer player. Does end up forcing the TP from Simple, however, by the looks of it. Psycho, yeah, knows not to throw poles in just like that. That Matrix covering him. Tread really low, though. This is an opening. Yes, Psycho just comes to the back line. Kineo torn apart. Both beats come in, but it's a 5-man for Twisted Minds. Self-destruct for Tread. Johnny, it's all falling apart for Gen.G right now, and Stagger's going to cost them dearly. Quartz ends up getting post-bomb, but a late kill onto Crispy, and Johnny and Tread is the last one alive. They're going to demech and stagger this baby Diva.
Yeah, it's over. They won't be able to touch this. I doubt even Crispy can get back in time, but it's not going to be a solid regroup. And Twisted Minds, they're going to close things out here.
Maybe even a touch from Backbone might be enough, but instantly killed. Post bomb from Psycho thrown out, and Twisted Minds end this one fairly easily on Suravasa. A 3-0, denying Gen.G the win. A good look from Gen.G, a much improved one, but you can see why TM are in second seed right now. Just absolute dominance on Suravasa, playing their game to an absolute T.
Things really came together well there for Twisted Minds, and a big shout out to Psycho, who again on the Tracer just looks amazing, both on Junkertown and here on Suravasa. When Psycho was called upon, he came in clutch on this Tracer and did exactly what he needed to do, which is just be a thorn in Gen.G's side. Amazing play by Psycho there then. But, you know, Gen.G, they tried to give themselves a chance. They obviously looked very uncomfortable there on that Suravasa. The Torbjorn swap came in from Backbone, and I thought it honestly looked quite good. Then the Symmetra fight didn't go their way at all, and Gen.G just couldn't find any momentum whatsoever in this final map. But they were so close. You can't, I know they feel disappointed about this one, Jack, but you can't feel too upset about losing to Twisted Minds in a 3-2 fashion.
Yeah, I mean, TM have lost only a couple of games this stage, right? They lost to VP, they lost to OWCS. They are a top 3 team, where Gen.G have been looking lackluster throughout this whole stage. But you're taking TM to a close 5-map series. Suravasa, though, it wasn't that close, to be honest. And I think that's how people expected the whole series to go. But yeah, pat on the back for Gen.G for sure, but TM take the win.
It was definitely a pleasant surprise for any Gen.G supporters in the chat. It was a much closer matchup than any of us were anticipating, and you know what? I don't feel so bad for having a little bit of that Gen.G copium earlier today on the desk, but it was a blowout to wrap things up over on Suravasa, and I feel like that was a really important statement for Twisted Minds to be making at the end of this series here as well, considering the expectations that we had for them coming into this game here, Johnny.
Yeah, I feel like Twisted Minds is one of those teams as well who have made it their brand, that they're happy when these series go long, because once the bans get out of, you know, when they've been selected already and you get less of those, you know, big target bans available for the enemy team, like that's when Twisted Minds feel comfortable. They're very happy to go to a map 5 because they're confident that they could close these series out. And I think you saw that on Psycho. Psycho, I think, is a great example of a player who truly like comes in clutch when it matters in the elimination scenarios. And on map 5 just turned it on to this Tracer. So I feel like Twisted Minds, they've struggled a little bit on map 5 so far this stage, but I feel like they always give it a good go on the 5th map, and they came in real clutch against Gen.G here.
They definitely did. As we talk a little bit more about how this matchup went, let's take a look at our DHL daily highlights here for EMEA. I mean, Jaws, talk me through it. Like, what was going so well for Gen.G? And for Twisted Minds, obviously they made that comeback, but where were they maybe falling flat on some of those map losses?
Man, yeah, I mean, they were just letting Backbone get away with murder on the Reaper. I think it was very good map choices as well coming in. Like the King's Row, it definitely suits Gen.G a whole bunch. I think Backbone, I think Zodiel had some moments too. This shot on the Diva was really nice, flying through the air. I think with Backbone being this like silly hero specialist, being able to play the Reaper is fantastic, but the Reaper is very map dependent, and so that is where you kind of fall prey to some of the map picks of Twisted Minds. And I think I want to just reiterate what Johnny said too. TM, as soon as the bans that are targeting players like Slyko are out the way, they're so confident in their own game. Maybe a little bit too confident on Esperanza playing the Bastion comp for 8 minutes, but they are so confident in their own game that when they are on their favorite comps, when they're on their Tracer comp with Psycho and Quartz can play Sojourn, it is very difficult for any team to really stand up to that measure, because you can only ban those heroes once in a series. If you get them out the way early, it's a rough one.
It definitely is. And taking a look at how these maps ended up panning out, Johnny, were there any big surprises? Like, I feel like King's Row, the way in which Gen.G were able to take that map as well was honestly surprising, with how strong of a start they ended up having in that first round, ending that 3-0 with 2 minutes on the clock, and for Twisted Minds having been running right down to 0.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gen.G came into this with a really good game plan. And again, I feel like they've been improving week by week. I was a little bit surprised to see how, you know, focused they were playing the Zarya Reaper, and they obviously feel like that is our signature composition now. And maybe Twisted Minds were caught a little bit off guard, maybe expected some more Symmetra play play right, and maybe you can prepare for that accordingly. But it just so happened that Gen.G's strength seems to be Twisted Mind's weakness in this scenario, because you saw both maps that Gen.G got to pick on King's Row and Esperanza. They had the upper hand with those bans, of course, coming to effect there as well. And so you could look at this and be like, okay, well, Gen.G, they won their 2 best maps, and Twisted Mind struggle against the Zarya Reaper. You could be naive and, you know, kind of like push that story if you want to, but I feel like Gen.G deserves all the praise really for the way they closed out King's Row and then later on Esperanza.
They definitely did, had quite the bite back to them, and are showing how they're looking to close that gap with the improvements that were made. But we still have to give the flowers over to Twisted Minds with their win here today in Week 5 this Sunday, and say hello to Psycho for an interview that we have with him just on the other side of this. Congratulations, Psycho, on the win today. I had I guess like 2 questions that I'm throwing into one here. It feels like we always see so much impact coming out from your Tracer gameplay, and then heading into Esperanza, Gen.G have that pointed ban towards that pick. How did that kind of change the approach from your team into your Esperanza game plan? And then what was also the attitude shift that you guys had heading into Suravasa, which was such a dominant closeout to the today's series?
Okay, remind me of that second question later, because I might forget. But
I will.
Okay, perfect. Honestly, I mean, we were just completely caught off guard by the Zarya Reaper. I mean, we've just been taking this week kind of lightly, you know, less scrims. We didn't talk about bans or whatever. So we really fucked up. But honestly, it's a pathetic result from us. Can't be too happy about this game. Obviously, we got the win, but dropping 2 maps to a team like Gen.G, it's not a good sign. But fair play to them. They found their comp, and we weren't really ready to adapt. So yeah, but Esperanza, I mean, we wanted to play Sim Bastion to just destroy the enemy Zarya, because that's what Katsia usually does, and it usually works out perfect. But unfortunately, I don't have Esperanza unlocked yet in my sim map pool. I didn't know all the TPs, so I'll take the blame for that map.
And for my second question, I was asking, I guess, going from the Esperanza where you guys were kind of caught off guard, and with like the Tracer being banned out, obviously it was a tough loss for you guys heading into map 5, but it felt like the tempo shift was massive going into Suravasa. You guys were in like the driver's seat the whole time. Was there anything that was said maybe in like comms to kind of shift your attitude going to the 5th map and bring that like mental back?
Obviously, there were a couple of motivational words said, but we just knew, because we had all our heroes open. There were no more bans left. We had D.Va, Lucy, Kiri, Hazard, all our best heroes. And I mean, as Reinforced mentioned earlier, no one beats us on those heroes. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you look just ridiculous on the Tracer, I'm going to be honest, like kind of as always. Is there any kind of, when you're looking forward to playoffs, any teams in your sights that you're especially wanting to play? Because there's a big patch coming up as well. And in fact, actually, let me pitch my other a different question. For you and for the rest of the team, what is the perfect patch for you going into playoffs? Would you like it to stay the way it currently is, or is there any kind of shift that you would prefer?
I mean, I think for our team specifically, I mean, obviously when I'm playing, I don't want Sim to get buffed, because I mean, I'm not our Sim player, but I think any Lucio Kiri comp we're extremely good on in Twisted Minds, because we have Astro, the best Lucio in the world, and Simple, who's insane on Kiri. And usually Tracer and Soldier are able to be played with Lucy Kiri. So, I mean, we're all on our best heroes then. So, but honestly, I think this patch is pretty good for us as well. We just had a rough showing today.
So I guess I'll steal Joel's question then. And as you kind of reflect on this stage, because you have quick esports next week, and that's going to be a 3-0 to you guys. I'm already calling it now. But as you reflect on losing to Alcazia in a map 5, losing to Virtus Pro in a map 5, as you look ahead towards the playoffs, what do you feel like you have to improve in Twisted Minds to get dominant again ahead of the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, to be completely transparent, we've just been taking this group stage pretty lightly in Twisted. I mean, as everyone knows, we don't have a coach, so everyone's just kind of chilling because we beat the teams we're supposed to beat, and then against the good teams, it's close. So heading into playoffs, we'll obviously take it more seriously, talk about our bans, figure out our comps, and all of that good stuff. Because right now, honestly, we don't know what we're doing. We just play and we win because we're good. But as you can see today, we were caught off guard, so yeah. Might have to prep better.
I mean, here you Super valid. I mean, you heard it here first, Psycho, the skill dip and the confidence that you guys have in your gameplay. Thank you so much for doing this winner's interview with us, and the best of luck heading into the playoff season.
Thanks for having me.